Super Bowl. What a win, Greg. What a win. First preseason game in the books.
Everyone matters. Every play matters. Ben Johnson's going to be dialed in on the post-game presser, so we're locked in here.
Bears won 34-10. Ben's probably pissed. We're got a lot to talk about here today, and we are at the Chicago Yacht Club because Tyson Bagent's going to join us here.
Go.
He's going to swim over from Soldier Field and join us right here in the post-game show. Here we go. Best and worst. The whole thing. We're breaking it down. Bears beat the Browns. CHGO Bears post-game starts right now.
Let's go.
This is your CHGO Bears post-game show, the first of the 2026 season. We are live at the Chicago Yacht Club, which we'll tell you all about why in a second, but we are presented by Ray Auto Group here. Off the top, all of our training camp coverage is brought to you by Ray Chevrolet and Ray CDJR. Go check them out on Route 12 in Fox Lake. Preseason game number 1 in the books. The Bears win 34-10. I think kind of showed off their depth a little bit in the second half versus a Browns team that shouldn't be anywhere near as good as the Bears this season. And I think that showed. We got a lot to talk about. Adam Hoge alongside Greg Braggs here on this what's turning into a beautiful Saturday. It was all rainy earlier when we got here this morning. And now the planes are buzzing by. We got the air and water show going on. It's turning into a nice little Saturday in Chicago.
Really cool scene on the lakefront, watching them Jets move like they do. That unbelievable, honestly, awe-inspiring. As was this first preseason game, long awaited, right? Long gone are the days of talking about the playoffs and how everything ended against the Rams. Officially turned the page, and now we have a win here in the books here, preseason game number 1.
That's right. Look, we're here because Tyson Bagent and the Bagent Group has a really cool event going on here at the Chicago Yacht Club, charity event. They've done this the last 4 years. They were kind enough to invite us here today, and we are going to hear from Tyson Bagent. Once he gets done with all his obligations over at Soldier Field, he's going to come down here and join the show.
Yeah, it's the 4th annual Bagent Group preseason kickoff here at the Chicago Yacht Club. So shout out to all of the Bagent crew having us out here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to the conversation later on.
Steven is here producing. Carm is slacking. He's not. No, Carm helped put this thing together, but he, of course, is on vacation right now. We'll hear from him next week, and I have a feeling he might chime in at some point during this show. But as we like to do in training camp throughout every practice, and technically this is
we're still getting to
yes.
it. Oh, all right. Well, let's get
great.
to it. I mean, I have been waiting. I mean, we need to hear it. The Hoge instant reaction. Now, if we're getting into it.
No, you went down a different road. That's
we're going
not
I thought you were
No, I was actually saying the opposite. I was literally
so excited.
Literally saying the opposite, that we were going to do best and worst.
No. That's what we do for training camp. This is a post game.
No, this is training camp.
This is still training camp.
This is a practice today.
See, you know me. The preseason reps are greater than training camp reps, always for me.
Okay, then why didn't Caleb play?
Caleb should have played.
No, he's going to practice. He's going to practice tomorrow at Hal's Hall, the controlled
Best
environment.
and worst. Fine. We'll do training camp.
We'll save the instant reaction for the Bears' 30-point win over the Carolina Panthers in Week 1. I'm going to go. How about number 59 out there today as my best?
Yep.
Jamree Kromah, and it wasn't just garbage time. I mean, he had it on in garbage time, but even in the first half, this guy was making plays. He had the strip sack on Deshaun Watson, which was a big play that kind of helped the Bears get. They were trailing and allowed them to get back and tie things up before halftime, and then eventually all the depth took over in the second half. I thought he was active on a day we are looking for pass rushers. The game started with Austin Booker and Dio Dengbo out there, but I think they had their moments. Austin had a couple nice rushes, but for the most part, it's kind of quiet. And then Jamree's out there, and he played a ton of snaps the rest of the way.
Yeah, he did.
And he was, I think that was against starters at the beginning. So good for him. Number 59, who's been around. This is actually his third year with the Bears already. He's been on the practice squad, undrafted free agent a few years ago out of James Madison, and briefly got signed by the Patriots his rookie year. And I think he spent like a month with New England on their active roster. And then when they let him loose, the Bears picked him back up on the practice squad. He's been here ever since. I can't say that I've necessarily been writing his name down or his number down in my notes on a daily basis during camp, but he made the most of the opportunity today, so that was my best.
Yeah, you got to show up. You got to show up in the games, and that's what we were talking about on the pregame show. Who are the ones that are going to be the gamers, right? So.
Yep. My worst, though, would be the sack that Jedrick Wills allowed in this game. We put a lot of stock on the left tackle battle today, and I want to get into the tape to really see who was the most consistent over the course of the game. I'm sure it wasn't perfect for either one, but it sure seemed like the worst play that happened out there today was the sack that Wills allowed, where Tyson Bagent basically got clothesline. We'll check in with Tyson later to see how that felt. He seemed to think he should have gotten a penalty.
He was trying to get one. I think it was more shoulder pad there, but it was a tough one. I mean, hey, all eyes are on this left tackle competition. They were rotating in and out for 4 quarters, it felt like, right? I mean, you talk about some of these other guys on the defensive line getting a lot of action, a lot of reps. Those guys certainly did for this left tackle battle. For me, my best has to be DeMarco Jackson, right? We've got our eyes on a lot of different things, and maybe linebacker isn't as talked about as much as it maybe should be, because there's a lot of things that really need to shake out in that room, and injuries and otherwise, and how this is all going to find its way. Well, DeMarco Jackson, first play of the game, first snap on the defensive side of the ball, just absolutely trucking a dude, setting the tone. And like that for me is so, that holds so much weight to me. I know the type of defense Dennis Allen wants to run, and you can talk about the technical side of things, but at the end of the day, you've got to have a guy like that that's going to set the tone. DeMarco Jackson right there. He did it so many times last year. He should have been player of the week, right? 2 times? Or he did win it 2 times.
Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah,
and so, I love seeing that. He continued to flash as the game went on, knifing into the backfield several times, rushing the quarterback, forcing errant throws. And so for me, it's got to be DeMarco Jackson. I could have gone a few different ways there. My worst, I'm going to just isolate to one play. So when I say this player's name, let me go back and watch the rest of the tape. I know that's an easy brush off, but it's the truth in its totality. But, when we're looking at that left tackle battle, I'm also looking at Dio Dangbo and that defensive line. But specifically, Dio, how are you going to be? Because I've liked what I've seen so far at training camp. I've seen a guy that's, getting competitive with this and fighting back against this narrative that, it's this colossal failure of a signing, and maybe he can reclaim that narrative here. But all I know is there was a crucial 3rd down moment. And as I said, I'm going to isolate this one moment where you have a linebacker get in the backfield. I believe it was Ruben Hippolyte. And now you have an opportunity to get the tackle and force that 4th down. And there you have it, Dio Dangbo, who slid inside, right? They keep talking about how Dio Dangbo is going to be slid inside on 3rd down. We talked about it. You said maybe that didn't make sense because it was a rundown.
Well, it was 3rd and short. Or was it 4th down?
I believe it was 3rd and short.
It was either 3rd or 4th and short there. And so that's to me, you beef it up inside more than you go to more of your like NASCAR package where you kick your defensive end inside.
Agreed. And at the same time, to me, you've got to make that tackle, right? You have that opportunity to get off the field. They have you on 3rd down inside. You have an opportunity to make a play. You're going to find those situations, whether you're always going to get in a passing down or not. And so for him, like those plays are crucial when you're trying to earn your reps and move your way back up to the first team.
Absolutely. Stevie, you want to chime in with your best and worst?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like my best was the pre-snap operations for everybody. I thought when you're watching this game, especially preseason game number 1, a lot of second, third, fourth stringers that don't usually see game action. So many different things could go wrong, and I didn't see that. Just one false start that came in the fourth quarter. That was with Miller Moss in at quarterback. You saw the calls coming in quickly. You saw the play getting off with plenty of time to spare. I was really, really happy with pre-snap operations top to bottom, the entire team today.
Yeah. I mean, night and day from where we were last year at this time, right? And that really can't be glossed over. I think we all kind of take that for granted, and it's just the way it is. But let's not forget where this team was at this point last year.
Well, and I think, like, you heard Tyson talk about just how far advanced they are in this offense, and to me, this is like a check the box type of thing. But it also counts for those offensive linemen too up front. You got Kiran, whoever your left tackle is, like, there have been some false starts sometimes that have not necessarily been on the quarterback. There's guys jumping sometimes. That happens, and so I think it's a great point that it was pretty clean today.
Yeah, and not to mention Caleb talking during the game, doing a sideline report there, and he says, compared to last year, I'm not thinking as much. I'm just going there. I'm reading the defense. And granted, Caleb didn't play today, but you could see all the quarterback room felt the same way. It just showed up on the tape today. So I was really happy with that.
I thought maybe Caleb Williams was calling plays at one point on the sideline when he was getting fired up on some of those touchdown plays. It felt like maybe he was getting in on that action a little bit, just how much he was connected with the coaching staff through all that stuff. It was fun to watch.
And what about your worst?
My worst, and I know I'm glossing over this. It's not important. The result is great, but I would have loved to have at least seen one target for Jade Walker today. He was a player for me to watch in our pregame show, and not a single target for Jade. I wanted to see if he could continue that strong preseason run he had last year, and we didn't get a chance to see any of that rapport with Tyson. I know it's there, but we didn't get to see it today, so I wish I would have seen at least one ball go his way.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point, too. I was pointing that out kind of halfway through the second quarter, maybe. At one point, we even asked, is he playing? Yeah. And then we looked up at the screen, and he was lined up at the top of the screen. So it was something we can ask Tyson about a little bit later on, because it's possible they were just doing a good job of stopping him, and he wasn't open. So sometimes that happens too. But we did kind of think number 9 should be somebody that would be involved today, for sure. All right, let's go through some other guys that I kind of go through some of these notes that I thought some good, some bad throughout this, because they are going to kind of evaluate this like a weighted practice. Dante Manning had the opening kickoff tackle, which those are important plays when you're somebody who's trying to make the team, what you can do on special teams, and he's got that speed. Meanwhile, though, he did get run over later on in the game.
Happens.
Yeah.
You're willing to put your head down, you're going to get ran over a few times, right?
Yeah, there was another thing, too. I think he maybe had a missed tackle at some point, too. So it wasn't a perfect game for him. But Dillon Thieneman had a nice tackle short of the sticks early on when the starters were in. And then Devin Bush came in and had a nice third down stop. So when the starting defense was in, and I don't think it was all of them, but most of them were out there, you did see some nice plays from some players that are, that you want to see play well when the season starts.
Now, I will say, when I isolate that one play with Dio Dangbo not making that tackle on third down, whether it was third or fourth, regardless, I do believe Dillon Thieneman was also there. Dio was, to me, the more primary tackler in that situation, but Dillon was also there and could have helped finish that play. So want some added context. But yes, I liked seeing Dillon get to the sidelines and force that third down there, because some players give up there, and he forced them out of bounds and forced that third and short.
A couple players I think you got to keep in mind at the nickel spot. I mean, the most obvious one is Malik Muhammad, who played a lot early on, and he had a really nice tackle for loss, kind of shooting through, playing inside out, which is what we talk about with him not having a lot of experience playing in that spot. To have that nice TFL, I thought that was a good moment for him. Later on in the game, though, he did get called for a holding penalty on Concepcion in one-on-one coverage there. So I think mostly good things for Malik Muhammad, but there was the one penalty, and, of course, that matters as well. And then, meanwhile, Beanie Bishop, we might have to talk about this guy a little bit. 2 interceptions. Now, let's be fair, both were horrible passes. Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, but he did make the plays, and this is somebody who's he's got some skins on the wall in this league. Now he I think was undrafted, right, out of West Virginia a few years ago. Yeah, went undrafted.
Oh boy,
ends up with
West
the Steelers.
Virginia song coming to a theater near us.
But there was at one point in his rookie year, I want to say he was either named Rookie of the Month or Defensive Player of the Month because he picked off a bunch of passes when he got his opportunity to play. Now he's bounced around a little bit. He ended up not sticking with the Steelers and then went to New Orleans, and at least last year that's where he was. So they picked him up, but he can play inside, and today he had 2 interceptions. So maybe that's somebody who with some experience that you should keep an eye on, number 25, if this nickel position doesn't get settled.
Yeah, I mean, we're not as good at this as Mark Carman would be, but he'd be like, let me tell you something about a Beanie Bishop, and then he'd know his parents' names. Yeah, he'd start, like, bringing up where they're from and, like, where they go for breakfast and all of those things. But at his birth, his godmother referred to him as my Beanie Baby, and the nickname Beanie stuck. So that's why he is Beanie Bishop of pride of Pleasure Ridge Park High School in Louisville. So that's the best Karmapedia impression I'll give you here today. Shout out Mark Carman.
Yeah, well, and then I'll come in as I normally do when Karmapedia happens and give you something you probably
actual
care
context
about.
That we need.
This is what I was thinking of because he picked off Aaron Rodgers twice on Sunday Night Football when the Steelers played the Jets that year. Both of them led to touchdowns, and then he had a game-ending interception on Daniel Jones against the Giants as the Steelers won that game, and he was named Defensive Rookie of the Month for October that year as a rookie with 5 PBUs, 3 interceptions, and 2 TFLs. Now, it's interesting, though, because the following year he got waived at final roster cutdowns, ended up on the practice squad, and then by the end of the year, so this was 25. Yeah, so this would have been last year. So he really only, despite having that popping as a rookie with the Steelers, he's still been bouncing around ever since then, and he was not, he was on the street when the Bears just signed him on August 9th, just a few days ago, with all the injuries that they've had in the secondary.
The moral of the story is he had 2 interceptions on Aaron Rodgers on primetime television. And so that,
you can start for the Bears.
You are hired. Let me look at your resume. Oh, you intercepted Aaron Rodgers. You're hired. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So, I mean, we talked so much before on the pregame show of Skylar Thomas, or, my guy Anthony Johnson Jr., who was going to be the guy that popped. I think both came close to making a big play. They made their plays, but it was Beanie Bishop there, the guy that kind of came out of nowhere here today.
I have more notes we'll share as the show goes along, but I know we got a big money super. Steven, who do we got here?
It's Huss again.
Huss. This is where Carm would sing you a song. Huss. But Carm's at family camp with a Bloody Mary. Huss. He also likes his Bloody Marys. Am I doing okay?
The takeoff,
and
the flight was good, and then the landing was like when Rome Odunze said he was gonna, if he ever had to land a plane, what would happen?
Well, same.
That's what happened.
Yeah,
we
same.
Crashed and burned.
Okay, what do we got?
Everyone died.
A pair of $50 super chats from Huss. First one, been a long time since I was excited for a preseason game. Saw a lot of young players do great things. I have best and worst to be continued. He said Kromah was a nice surprise. This is the continued. Davis was nice. Hippolyte looked way better. Ahmed was sick. Left tackle.
And then he's got one more. Why don't we finish it?
$20 more. Oh, yeah, look at that. $20 more from Huss. Cairo missing that short field goal is once again concerning. Thanks, boys, for being here for us Bears fans. That was 50
yards. Yeah, it was a 50-yarder.
And timeout, I believe, again, you're going to hear this a lot, but it is the truth. From what I understand, the snap wasn't very good on that play as well. So, like, that, I think there's some context that's worthy of a rewatch.
I watched the replay and didn't notice that. So
okay, well, let me go back to the tape.
Well, Hoge, as we know, Braggs is the special teams guy around here.
Right, that's true. I should trust his opinion.
If there was a bad snap, Braggs would have noticed.
Right. It's a good point.
That is so fair. How dare I? How dare I?
Anyway, that was like $120 worth of super chats from the Huss, right? So thank you very much, Huss. You're the man. It's good to have you back on these post-game shows. We'll take our first time out here. When we come back, we will be talking about the man of the hour of the day. It is Tyson Bagent. What did he do at quarterback? We're going to hear from him later on in the show as well. But our QB report comes up next. Hit that like button. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on a Saturday in the preseason. Don't go anywhere. We got a ton more coming up as the Bears beat the Browns. But first, hey, whether it's on the field or in your financial life, the best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. And at Old National Bank, they believe that every play matters. Even these preseason plays, they matter. From
Absolutely.
Everyday checking to long-term planning and commercial banking, the team at Old National Bank is here to build momentum and help you move the ball forward. It all starts with a plan tailored for you by professionals that you trust. From simple tasks to bigger financial moments, you can count on Old National Bank to coordinate your needs with steady, knowledgeable guidance that brings clarity and confidence to each step. It's a partnership designed to help you feel supported, not just today, but well into the future. So whether you're celebrating a win, rebuilding after a tough loss, or gearing up for whatever comes next, Old National Bank has your back with tools, insights, and an expert crew that is always in your corner. Check them out. They had the big sign on the highway coming in today. Preseason is here. Football's here. Old National Bank. Remember FDIC, where relationships and results matter.
That's right. Shout out Old National Bank, and shout out to our new friends here over at Splash Sports. Look, football is almost here. Preseason's here, but regular season's right around the corner, and you have a chance to win big money with the Splash Sports and All City $500,000 Survivor Contest. Look, we all know how Survivor contests work. You pick straight-up winners each week and can't use the same team twice, but make the right picks throughout the season to avoid being eliminated, and this contest has a guaranteed $500,000 payout. Let me say that again. $500,000 payout. It's up for grabs, so enter today at allchgo.com/survivor. That's allchgo.com/survivor. Sponsored by Splash Sports. Paid partnership. Skill-based contest, not sports betting. Open to U.S. residents. 18 or over. Void where prohibited. Entry fee $25. Rules at splashsports.com/city.
All right, it's time now for our Apt Quarterback Report. It is good to have Apt on board with us this season. Apt is your number one destination for the home. For free in-home delivery, professional installation, and complete satisfaction. Shop at Apt, pleasing people since 1936. And we got a code for you to use when you call them. It's CHGO 8 Kickoff. CHGO 8 Kickoff. You'll get $25 off. If you spend $150, you get $25 off there. And Apt, I love that. They've done they did my TVs on my wall in my basement, which is awesome. They put some new outlets in.
It's a beautiful setup.
Put the TVs up. I understand my family was enjoying it today while the Bears game was on. They also had the Sox on. They beat the Detroit Tigers back-to-back days. Okay. I'm sure Tyson, well-known Sox fan. I will give him a little bit of crap for throwing out the first pitch in Wrigley, though, when he gets here, because I still need to do that. But he is a Sox fan, and the Sox got the win today. But that's not why you're here. We're here to talk about Tyson Bagent in our Apt Quarterback Report. And it was up and down. Yep. I'd say he certainly had some moments. The big touchdown pass to Maurice Alexander. There was also the 41-yarder to Caden Davis, which if you've been wondering what we've been talking about in camp with these hookups between Tyson Bagent and Caden Davis, you saw it right there on a play where Tyson hung in there, took a hit, delivered a great pass, and Caden Davis, you saw his ability to catch the ball and get the yards after the catch as well. So those were some good highlights there.
Yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, I guarantee is going to be frustrated because he wants to play perfect, right? I mean, this is all his opportunities. Will he even play in the third preseason game, right? And so he has a lot of value, and they have to be careful as much as they want to give him reps. And also, Ben has talked about here this offseason how much he has an affinity for Tyson Bagent, and I'm sure he'd love to give him as many opportunities to show that outside of a practice field. So now you get into this situation where you're trying to throw a perfect game, right? And I'm hesitant. I want to stay short of saying like I feel bad for him, but it's just such a high bar he is trying to hit in these moments. So you saw the moments where he's throwing in time and rhythm. You see operationally how he can run the offense and the importance that he has to this team. Did you see the dynamics that we see at training camp with some of the stellar throws? that didn't happen today as many times as he would like, or as you would like as a Bears fan. So there was times where ball placement wasn't exactly there. There was a back shoulder. Caden Davis came down with the catch, but it's kind of led on the wrong side, right? These are the things that Ben Johnson is going to talk to him about. And then specifically on the interception, it's second and 19 or first and 19. And sometimes you just got to take your medicine, and you get a running back that leaks out left. And, I'm not Tyson Bagent. He'll be able to talk you through it and go through your progressions. But you look on the right side, and he's looking that way, and there's the running back wide open in the flat. He doesn't find him. So those things didn't come, weren't perfect today. But then how he's able to bounce back and just get on to the next play, make good throws, you're always going to trust him. So today wasn't a perfect game, but plenty of evidence of everything that he has done for this team and why Ben Johnson trusts him the way he does as the backup quarterback.
Yeah, 13 of 22 for 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That came out to a passer rating of 79.5. So statistically, not necessarily probably the numbers he wanted. However, it's also interesting because Deshaun Watson finished 11 of 15, 126 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. That comes out to a passer rating of 98.2. I don't know. Watching that game, I'd rather have Tyson Bagent.
Well, of course. I mean,
if you're the Browns, if I was doing a Browns postgame show, I would not exactly be. It feels like you got to go play Deshaun Watson by default right now.
Yeah.
Because Shedeur came in, and we already saw that disaster last year when he came to Soldier Field. There was more of that today with a really bad interception. And then Dylan Gabriel looked, I thought, terrible when he came in. So, Deshaun Watson's probably their best option right now. But then again, I don't know. He didn't do anything that blew me away today by any means. I thought Tyson's highs were way higher than what Deshaun Watson did today, even if there were a couple blunders in there like the interception.
Right, and, there's just a lot of things that go into play. At one point, Tyson Bagent had a perfect throw in stride to Maurice Alexander. Maurice had some great plays, right? But then he had that drop, hits him right in the chest, and you hear Antoine Randall talk so much about the C's. He said at the owners' meetings, I believe, where he said, C's, where you see it with your eyes and you see it with your hands in terms of forming a C and catching that football. And don't let it come to your chest. Don't let it come to your pads. Pops off his chest. We saw that so many times last year. So when you're, comparing and contrasting and talking about some of the things this team needs to clean up to have that consistency in the first 3 quarters and not just deliver that magic in the fourth quarter, those are those moments, right? And so, the little details. We've graduated, as Steven said, from pre-snap operation and execution. And now it's about ball placement, details, finding the right coverages to attack. And so I think you're seeing that, but we got to hold on to the football, right? Those little things, big things, really, because that was a big scar on this team last year where the amount of drop footballs they had. And I know in practice they've started to show up here lately too, so you don't want them here today. So, again, it's a team effort in terms of trying to build that momentum. And so when we talk about the quarterback and the offense today being up and down, that's kind of where it was, but zero concern. We all know what he's capable of. And when Ben Johnson said, I don't need to see Caleb Williams in the preseason because I know what he's capable of, the same can be said for Tyson Bagent. So
I need to see him in the preseason.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying you wouldn't, he doesn't have more to prove, but I also know what he's capable of.
Sure. Look, I liked how the defense got him the ball back for that little 2-minute situation there at the end of the half, and it did lead to 3 points, even though they took the sack at the end. Now, that's not a sack you want to see in that situation, but that's not the first time we've seen Cairo had to step up and make a kick after a sack went in the wrong direction there right at the end of a drive. So that's been a high emphasis for the Bears, just doing a better job at the end of second quarters, and at least the Bears were able to put some points on the board, and Tyson was a part of that. All right, we do have Ben Johnson coming your way in a little bit, so just make sure you know that. You don't need to flip over or anything. We will play Ben Johnson for you. There was one nugget that I think there was one other maybe you could argue should have been on our best list, is that there weren't a lot of injuries today. And I think Nefi Sewell was maybe the only significant one near the end of the game, and I guess Ben said that he suffered a concussion there. But that was your quarterback report. sponsored by Apt. We appreciate having Apt on board. Excited about that. And we will also hear from Kiran Amegadjie coming up.
All right.
Malik Muhammad, Dillon Thieneman. Pat Norton is our guy in the locker room today. He's sending a bunch of stuff in. So do not go anywhere because we will have Ben Johnson. We will have Dillon Thieneman, a bunch of guys in the locker room. Hit the like button. Man, it's cool seeing this much interest and eyes on the Bears today. This show, it seems like the excitement's carried over from last season. Everybody is locked in. We're locked in too. Don't go anywhere. But first. Hey, that summer heat is still here, even with all the rain we're getting. The AC is working harder than ever. Don't wait for a breakdown. Call Four Seasons today and schedule a complete AC tune-up for just $89.95, and their expert technicians are available 24/7 for emergency service. There's been plenty of that lately.
Yeah.
No additional charges for nights, weekends, or holidays. And maybe you're thinking about a whole home generator right now. I'm sure a lot of people are. Four Seasons is where you want to go and give them a call. They can hook you up with that. They also, it's not just the AC, not just a generator. Clogged drains. Maybe you need an electrical outlet installed. Four Seasons has you covered across the board. They're trusted by homeowners across the region, not just Bragg's region, the entire Chicagoland region. Four Seasons is your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. You know the address. It's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
Yeah, shout out to Four Seasons. Seeing them all over the roads, helping out in emergency time in Northwest Indiana and beyond. They're hard workers. And shout out to our good friends over at Sunnyside. Our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your second half of your baseball season, and I know we need it on both the north and south side as we are looking at the playoffs with both teams. Yeah, playoffs, baby. And, hey, while you're gearing up for the playoffs, get yourself and look over at Sunnyside with their crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup locations all over Illinois. North, south, east, west, doesn't matter. You can find it. They got the Stash Pass, a reward program that helps you incentivize better deals for yourself. So head to their website for only the best under the sun, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter that promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Sunnyside Dispensary, only the best under the sun, only for 21 or older or Illinois medical card holders.
All right, some notes coming out of Ben Johnson's presser. And again, we are going to play the full thing here in a little bit, but perhaps the most significant is that he said Xavier Woods suffered a groin injury and did not finish the game. So another shot in the safety, I don't know what you call it now.
The groin.
Yeah,
another
the
shot
safety
in
groin.
the safety groin. I mean, it's just repeated. I mean, there's that. Have you ever seen that GIF of the guy just repeatedly getting kicked? Like that's what it is for this secondary. I said it like a week ago. I feel like this secondary is cursed with the amount of resources they have put into it, from draft equity to free agency and beyond, and first round picks now. It's just Zay Frazier, last year is gone already. It just one thing after another. Just nothing seems to work out with the secondary group.
Yeah, I mentioned Skylar Thomas before the game, and I thought he did pop. He had a PBU, and he made a nice run stop on the next play. So I'm just looking for other bodies, looking for other players, because you hate to start 2 rookies early on in the season, but we don't know how bad this injury is for Xavier Woods, the severity of it, but
and you have Cam Lewis,
right,
and so. But you're hanging on by a thread, right? You're not even to week 1 yet. And the amount of injuries that they have sustained in that room, it's demoralizing. We're just trying to get going here. And it just seems like every time they try to get their wheels spinning, they fall back into the mud pit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we also found out that Ben gave play calling duties to Antoine Randall in the second half.
You could see that on the sidelines after one of the touchdowns when Caleb was interacting with it. That's where I was like, did they come up with this play? I had a feeling that they were motioning there.
Yep, and I'm also being yelled at on Twitter about doing the butt first thing before breaks. For
I always-
somebody who doesn't realize it's a bit that we do.
And I've grown partial to the butt first ever
Yeah, I
since
bet.
the person ever since the chatter said that Carm came out butt first. That was maybe one of my favorite lines by any of our guys in the chat ever. That's a goated line.
I'll also give our Emma's given us some notes here from Ben Johnson, which we appreciate. Emma,
We appreciate.
That's what Emma would say. Yes. Our social media, what do we call her? Czar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm trying to think of a better descriptor. But she's awesome at what she does. Social media. Anyway, Emma Helperovich.
I was gonna say, what's the lady that the red panda that puts all the plates on her head at once? That's essentially what Emma has to do with all of social.
That's a good one. Anyway, she's letting us know that Montez and Braxton Jones should be back next week, and that Kyler Gordon is unknown, which is a good way to explain that situation right now. Just sort of unknown.
Good, and that's what I mean. Like you've got all this stuff going on. Guys battling to just get on the field or even play this year at all. And then you got Kyler Gordon, and it's just big question looming in the air and have no real answers of what is going on.
Yeah. Boy, these injuries. But it's football. They're going to happen. I don't tell you. Guys are going to come back. It's good. Montez coming back is actually interesting because I figured he just had the old training camp. We've been doing this free pass list. And Montez is not qualified for my free pass list. Free pass, you get a free pass right to week 1. We're good. I've added 2 players to it, Colson Loveland, DeAndre Swift. Neither who played today and neither who should.
Joe Tooney doesn't get it?
No, because he's still got to handle the left tackle competition. That's his job.
Okay.
He's got to.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're on my side of things there. I like
not
that.
in the preseason games, but like in practice, he's still. I'm talking about you. I don't even need to see you practice.
Okay. All right.
Wrap him in bubble wrap and send him to Carolina now.
I think Joe would say he's got enough skins in the game
agree.
Free pass.
Look, if they name Braxton Jones the starter on Monday, then I'll say, okay, we're done there. You're good.
Okay.
And then Joe can go to Carolina too. Anyway, Montez wasn't quite there for me, so I thought he was maybe just putting himself there. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen a veteran have an injury and then be fine by week 1. But I guess he's coming back this week, so that's good news.
Well, I think it was good news if there's so much that I think it's in our nature, whether you're media or even fans, like what are the things that they need to fix, right? Everything's going right. But let's spotlight, as much as the secondary is a mess right now, the defensive line, you talk about Montez Sweat, we're talking about the sum of the parts, right? That's what we keep, the coaching staff and everybody keeps selling, and that's what we're trying to kind of convey through what we're seeing and being fair to how this is going at practice. Well, now you get to a game, and the defensive line, I know Jamree was, your best, but a lot of guys making plays across that defensive line. James Lynch throughout the game.
Yeah.
At one point, Neville Gallimore, my guy, knifing through on a crucial down. It just felt like a lot of different guys getting in on the action.
I'm curious where people – I think – so I think what that was a reflection of, Greg, is something I know that Carm and I have discussed throughout the preseason or the training camp so far is I feel better about the depth on the D-line. I still think they lack, the star power, the guy that you really –
Game wreckers.
The game – but not just even game wrecker, like the guy that when you're game planning on the other side, like we have to stop this guy. We cannot let this guy – you start shifting your protections there. When you're going through practice and you're doing your walkthroughs against your scout team, it's like, who's wearing 98 over there, right? Like, does Montez really command that every single week? I think there's some weeks that teams probably treat him that way. I do, however, feel like there's better depth. I think the Neville Gallimores. Actually, James Lynch was somebody I've been a little bit down on. I feel like I haven't seen enough of some big splash plays from him in camp so far. Today, he brought those.
Yep.
I like seeing number 97 out there quite a bit.
And then how about Loving on that crucial down? We were trying to figure out who was that crashed down on that, what was it, 3rd or 4th down and short? It was 4th down and short. And they crashed down and just – that play was dead to rights. It was right on the goal line. It was like the 3 or 4 yard line. It was a big time play from Loving, and so you don't see, you only get so many moments of live periods in training camp. So you're seeing those guys, have those moments, and that's big time. That is what you are looking for. So,
Real quick, I want to talk about that for a second because we do have we're going to Kiran Amegadjie we'll go to first here. But first, if people know what play you're talking about, it was a short yardage situation where Loving basically he lined up as low as he could, and then he just sort of shot himself. Couldn't have been more than 6 inches off the ground to penetrate underneath, almost like the way that you would try to stop a tush push. They've been practicing that, I feel like, almost every day. If you come out to camp, keep an eye on what they're doing in individual drills. Those D linemen, they've been hitting the sleds really low. Like, they're trying to get in the lowest stance possible, and I would actually say they're just throwing their body almost uncontrollably at the sled at a very low angle. And I was like, I wonder if they're doing that to practice against the tush push. Although we didn't see the tush pushes more last year, so I was kind of wondering why they were doing that. But maybe that's a technique that they're going to try to employ in these short yardage situations. And you saw it pay off there because it created the penetration for somebody else to come in there and clean it up.
Right. Then the linebackers get in on the action and they stonewall the play. And so, that's exactly what you're looking for because they need to be able to find guys like that. Neville Gallimore had another play on a crucial third and short. So, and I guess the one thing I was going to ask you in regards to the technique on that play is how close is that to towing the line of what would be an illegal, a legal form in that way?
Well,
not to put you on the spot, but
you kind of are with the rules because I'm forgetting how they've changed them. I think you just can't come from the outside in is what it is. I still think
I don't mean to put you on the spot there, but that was when it happened. I loved the play and the idea, but then my first thought was where would a flag come into play if he didn't do this correctly?
So this is where we need Gary. I think you can still technically cut those interior guys as long as you're not coming from outside the tackle box in. On the other hand, though, that's not what he did. It's not like he took out anybody's legs. He just shot the gap.
Correct.
He just shot the gap. So that's different. Mm-hmm. It's not like he's just like, I'm going to take out this guy's ankles.
100%. 100%. Yeah. But that's where I'm like, when you're low like that and how the ref sees it.
Because we see that at the high school level sometimes, and it is illegal to cut there. And guys will just start diving at your offensive lineman's legs, and it's like, dude, come on. You got to call that eventually. Somebody's going to get hurt. All right, let's go to Kiran Amegadjie, the left tackle. Competition today was certainly notable, and Kiran got the start, and
he could have made my best, honestly.
I mean, I don't know. I got to go back and watch the film before I'm willing to be like, it was great. But I want to hear what he has to say about how he thought his day went. Here's Kiran Amegadjie.
Getting snaps back on the field, haven't played football in almost a year now, so it was good to get my feet back under me and get some reps in. But like I said, there's obviously things to clean up in a couple plays I want back.
Coach Roshar was talking about how just he sees flashes, but until it's consistent, it kind of doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. How do you try to be more consistent?
I think it's a daily process. It's thinking about every time I'm on the field, the little things that he and the whole staff have, kind of impressed upon me that they need to see from me, and the things that I see for myself that I need to get better at. So it's a daily process of thinking about those things, focusing on those things during practice, before practice, after practice, kind of with everything I do.
Is there any frustration with how this has evolved the last few years? And obviously, it's been a big jump that you took, and the playing time has been hard to come by. But what are you where you thought you'd be, or not?
I mean, it's hard to say that I'm where I thought I'd be, seeing as I've started one game in 3 years and I've been injured multiple times. So there's obviously that level of frustration. I'm not the player that I want to be yet, obviously. But I'm working towards that. Everybody has a different path in the NFL. And as a competitor, obviously, it is frustrating to not be out there, to not be healthy. But, I'm healthy now, and I'm focused on staying on the field as long as I can.
Yeah, given those frustrations, how do you feel you handled this opportunity to be in a play?
I think, I handled it with, as well as I could, taking it day by day, focusing on myself, on what I need to do to get better, listening to what Coach Roshar is saying in the film room, what he sees from me, and trying to apply that on the field daily.
How's today go for you?
I think, like I said, it was up and down. I think I was kind of getting my feet underneath me for a second. It's tough to get in rhythm, sitting in the second quarter and coming back to the 2-minute drill and then the third quarter and stuff like that. So it's a good learning opportunity, obviously. It's just, what I need to do to stay ready in those moments if there is another occasion like that. But, yeah, like I said, it was up and down, and, I'll only get better from it. Definitely. I mean, that's where I've played pretty much my whole career since high school. I feel more comfortable at tackle, but I'll play anywhere.
The 2-minute drill, to be in there to see what that drive ended with points at the end of the first half. What did you learn about that operation, and what do you think needs to be cleaned up?
I think, like I said, most of it, honestly, for me on a personal level, was staying in the game and being out for the second quarter and then coming back in just for that 2-minute drill. It takes a different level of execution and attention to detail, especially up front. D-line are going to move a lot more. They're going to run a lot more games. They're going to get their best move because they're trying to get the quarterback in that 2-minute and kind of end the drive there. So I think it's it's a lot of things, detail, execution, but then also staying within the game and kind of calming down in that moment.
You think this has been your best training camp?
All right, so there's Kiran Amegadjie calling it an up-and-down performance for him today. Also, I think fairly bringing up how I know the Bears did their best to try to keep these guys in a rhythm, but it is sort of a weird thing when you're playing a couple series and then you're coming out, and then as he brought up a couple times, you got to go back in for a 2-minute drill after sitting for, I think at that point, most of the second quarter. So it was a little weird. I think the Bears are doing the best they could to try to evaluate these guys, but yeah, I get it.
Well, what does Ben say? Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And so while that's not an ideal circumstance for these guys and they want a more fair shake at what they feel like would be more of proper evaluation, well, these are the cards you're now dealt because of the path that led you here over the last few years, fair or not. And life's not fair and things happen and injuries happen and you hate to see those, but now you're in this situation. How do you respond to being uncomfortable?
So we will hear from Ben Johnson as well. Coming up next, we need to take our final break of the show. Again, Tyson Bagent is going to join us as soon as he gets over here from Soldier Field. I think he's still doing his press conference over there, so it might be a little bit. But in the meantime, we're going to bring you Ben Johnson and a bunch of other player sound from over there at Soldier Field. Bears get a big win over the Browns in their first preseason game. We're going to continue to break down the wins and losses within the game. That is all coming up. But first, guy on Twitter.
Let me tell you about our good friends at Apt, your number one destination for the home, and it has the Frigidaire stone-baked pizza range. This is interesting. It brings authentic restaurant-quality pizza into your kitchen. Frigidaire stone-baked pizza ranges and wall ovens deliver crispy crusts and stone-baked flavor in as little as 2 minutes. And here's the secret, Adam. Got some science behind this. Stone-baked pizza mode that reaches 750 degrees. So whether you're celebrating a Bears win or watching the game with friends, Frigidaire lets you serve up something that everybody can get excited about. So use that code CHGO8 kickoff for $25 off $150. And listen, for free in-home delivery, professional installation, and complete satisfaction, shop Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Make sure you're hitting up that stone-baked pizza. That's what you got to hit up. Sounds delicious.
I love that. They've done a lot of stuff in my house. They do a great job with everything they do, as does our guy, Ray Scarpelli. Go check out Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram right now. It is your chance to score a great deal during the Make This the Summer event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram models. And right now you can get up to 25% off MSRP on the new 2026 Ram 1500. Or 0% financing for 60 months on new models. You can always shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000 as well. Because they prioritize affordability, you know you're not overpaying for the vehicle that you see, and they give you raised price promise so that the price that you see is the price that you pay. It is that simple. So do not miss out on the Make This a Summer event for huge savings on the Ram 1500 or 0% financing on new models. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Let's hear from the head coach, Ben Johnson. I know he had some injury updates in here, some of which we've already shared a little bit, but we have the head coach at the podium after the Bears beat the Browns today. Let's hear what he thought of everything we saw.
Okay, a few guys that didn't finish through there. So Nico has a right knee, didn't finish the game. Xavier Woods had a groin, didn't finish. Nephi Sewell had a concussion, so he's in protocol right now. And then Ruben has a shoulder, so we'll keep looking at that as we go through the week here. Man, proud of our guys and how they played. We talked about being disciplined in all three phases, and we really saw today, I think, 2 penalties on the day from all three phases. We haven't had a practice yet where we've had that few fouls, so that was really encouraging to see. They took that to heart. I don't know if I've been a part of a preseason one where that's been the case in my career, so credit to them. And then we talked about being physical, being fast, being detailed. I thought our guys were able to cut it loose. We simplified the game plans from what we've been doing in practice and just let them go out there and play. And I thought the fundamentals, the technique showed up. I thought our defense was tackling for the most part when they had opportunities. Offensively, we had some detail there in the passing game. Quarterbacks were fairly accurate with the football. But it'll be really good tape for us to look at, and it's a good start as we get going. If you notice a difference in terms of offensive execution, and it looked better in the second half. That's really because of Antoine Randall calling it there in the second half. I thought he did a phenomenal job, with Case taking the reins and then transition on over to Miller just to see how he was trying to stay in their wheelhouse. He was part of the quarterback meeting last night, and we were talking about what was on the call sheet and their favorites and all that, and I think it was a phenomenal experience for him, and I know our guys really rallied around that as well. So I'll open it up from there.
Why'd you hand off play calling duties at all? Like, why him specifically?
Yeah, well, I think we might take a look at a couple guys here during the preseason. Last year Declan had an opportunity in one of those games to do the second half, and so I wanted El to get that chance, and he wanted it too. I mean, I think he's an outstanding coach, and I think sometimes when you're put in certain position rooms, you kind of get labeled one thing or another. And here's the thing about El. I think he's got a chance to be an offensive coordinator in this league. I think he's got a chance to be a head coach in this league. I think he would do a phenomenal job in both those respects. And I don't know if he gets that type of credit around the league right now. So it's a good opportunity for him to get some recognition.
And the screen play, Ahmed, that got out of the gates, what was your vantage point on what made that all click?
Oh, shoot. We've been harping on those details. We got specific landmarks. We drill them every single day. I think our defense has done a really good job throughout the week of practice to make those hard for us. So we've had a lot of very difficult looks. Some of our worst plays in practice over the last couple of weeks have been our screens. And so, I just think it's a really good job up front, executing the timing, the rhythm, and then, we always talk about those screen runners. When they get the ball in the hands, we're trying to get vertical for a few steps and then turns into a punt return after that. And that's certainly what that one looked like as he was taking it across the field. So good to see those guys blocking down the field. A guy like Caden Davis, who really is trying to run coverage away from the screen, ends up making a key block, and it's good to see things like that.
How do you feel the rotation at left tackle between Kiran and Jamree?
Yeah, I think that's a hard one for me to assess right now. Sometimes that trench play, you gotta go ahead and take a look at the lens from behind and really be able to take a look at it. But as a whole, I would say offensive line, I felt like our quarterback got hit more than I would like. Tyson certainly did in the first half, and second half we still felt some pressures there on Case and Miller. So we'll look at why that was the case, and then running game wise was a little bit spotty as well. So different style of defense certainly attributes to that. Their front is coming off the ball, and they make it very difficult for one-on-one blocks, and you got to be very specific with your angles and all that. And so there's a back and forth there in the running game as well. So hard to say a whole lot about left tackle quite yet.
Setting aside today, the first team offense, how ready do you feel like that group is now with less than a month until the season starts?
Yeah, I feel really good about where those guys are at. We had a phenomenal throwing session before we got going today, and that was by design. I mean, we got over 60 plays that we're able to simulate, going in a huddle, calling the play, talking through the coaching points, the footwork, the timing, the rhythm. I thought all those guys that didn't play in the game, we needed that. I think that's how you get better at the passing game, is you got to have days like that. And so it was a good time to do it. We'll assess whether we need to play in the next couple games as we go through these joint practices here, and we'll see where we're at as a team. But I'm happy with what the offense looks like right now, and yet we're only halfway through this thing, and we got a long ways to go.
This time last year, even later into camp, into August last year, you voiced a lot of frustrations.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is bothering you right now? What do you feel like still needs to be cleaned up?
Well, my concerns last year were a lot with the pre-snap, and we don't have those procedure issues to that degree anymore. And so, provided we can keep those to a minimum, I think that's where we'll continue to get better. I think our defense is going to continue to get better because they're facing a clean unit as well. And, we'll see what it looks like going against a couple new opponents. I know, I'm excited to go down to Cincinnati, and they've got a lot of new talent on defense that we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's if we want to have success against. And so that, to me, is going to help us really shape where we're at as an offense right now.
What impressed you about Jamree today?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's something you see it in the springtime, the new techniques that we're coaching with, and he's flashing, and yet it's like, is this the time he's going to turn it on? And you don't know, and then you go into a game like this, and you see the get off, you see the relentlessness. You could feel his presence every single snap. And I'm standing close to the D linemen, and they're hooting and hollering and cheering for him because they're as excited as he is, because they're seeing him going out there and making plays and making an impact like that. He's such a hard worker. I know he's been in the program now for a minute, and to see him have some success on the field like that was huge.
With Ahmed, what's he showing you that whether he can be this next running back and his fit with this offense?
Yeah, well, I think we know. We feel good about those top two backs right now and where they're at. So the battle for 3, 4, 5, whatever that looks like, a lot comes down to special teams. A lot comes down to how do you separate yourself from those top two guys? What's your skill set? How is it different? He's got that slashing mentality where he's hard to bring down in space, and that showed up again today. Showed up in practice really throughout camp so far. We'll continue to challenge him to find a defined role there on special teams where he can help us out the most there. And then, pass protection. How do we continue to improve? When you're a little bit smaller as a running back, that's always what I'm looking for, is how stout are we holding up to a blitzing linebacker as well. So things that we're looking for as we continue through this thing.
Couple more, please. Beanie Bishop hasn't been here long, but you came away with a couple of takeaways today. How do you kind of sort through the significance of that in a game like this?
Well, no, I think it's a credit to him. He doesn't say a whole lot. He's just learning and trying to absorb the system right now. And, I think DA has been pretty clear with how our pass defense, it works together. It's the rush up front combined with the coverage in the back end. And when you feel that front coming off the ball and affecting the quarterback to the degree that they did, move him off his spot, that's where you get some overthrows and things of that nature. And Beanie's in great position, and he took advantage of it twice, Thought he had great return afterwards as well. And so it was awesome to see. We'll continue to evaluate him as we get going. Is also where we got to get better as a team is we got to score some touchdowns when we get those takeaways. So there's a lot of good tape from today. I know what the score says, and yet we got a lot to learn from and grow from as well.
So just about a year ago, you talked about maybe 4 or 5 guys you can trust to be in the offense where they need to be. What does that list look like now? I think last year was like Rome, Ozzie, DJ. What does that list look like now going into? Yeah,
I don't know if I could put a number on it, but these guys they understand what the expectation is, and I think they study their tails off, and they do. They're professionals, and you bring in some new guys, some young guys, like take Xavion for example, and now you can just say, hey, just do what Rome does, just do what Khalif does, that's where this thing really takes off. And Xavion is on his stuff because he's just watching them and doing what they do. And so there's not a number on it, but there's a lot of confidence right now with where we are, where we're heading, and what we can potentially become here as we keep going through this thing. I love the fact that we take all the bells and whistles off today, and we're more static, not a whole lots of motions and all that, and these guys can just cut it loose and play fast. I thought their play speed showed up today.
3 injury guys I want to check in on really quick. Montez, how soon do you expect it?
Sooner, like within this week.
And Braxton?
Same thing.
Kyler?
Unknown. Yep. Thank you.
I don't mean to laugh, but those are 3 different answers. Well, 2 different answers over 3 players. It was sooner, like now. And Braxton, same thing. Kyler, unknown.
I was trying to think of like if you were interviewing my wife and they were asking something about me, what would apply for unknown? Like, I don't know. I'm a little more predictable than that. I'll have to come up with something, but that answer was amazing.
We like the first week, like when we get to week 1 and they do the injury report and it's like questionable, probable, whatever. It's just going to say unknown.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. All right. Keep paying attention to that. It's weird. That's for sure. All right, Tyson Bagent. Actually, let me go through some of the notes from there. So some injury updates. I know he said Nikola Kalinick. I missed the injury, but I'm assuming that's who Nico is. The big one was obviously Xavier Woods, that was groin, right, for Xavier Woods, we said.
Sir.
And then we had Ruben Hippolyte apparently had a shoulder, and there was a fourth one, too.
Yeah.
Nefi Sewell had a concussion. That's what it was.
And then Kalinick with a right knee injury.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
Tight end.
So Kalinick is interesting, too. I know that's probably a name most people will be like, who is that? But he played last year, I think, in the playoff game, too, and showed a lot on special teams. And he's been close to a core special teamer in practices in terms of where he's lining up. Now, I don't know how many tight ends you can actually keep. They had like 7 of them that they actually use. But that's not a nothing injury. So at least from my special teams standpoint of things. All right, let's hear from the quarter. Actually, I'm sorry, I keep getting off track. Couple more notes here. Only 2 penalties in the game. Ben really liked that. He said that he didn't think they have had a practice like that to this point. So that was really good to hear. He, as you I think also pointed out on Twitter in the middle of the game, shouted out Caden Davis for the block he had downfield on the screen pass to Salvon Ahmed, the 49-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, he really talked about how they're working on that screen game and the timing and rhythm of that play, that it has to kind of start to develop into what is essentially a punt return coverage, and the way your blockers are downfield. And I thought the offensive lineman did a good job, Logan Jones included, getting downfield, but specifically Caden Davis. And I liked his added context where he talked about he had a clear-out route left. And so if you watch the play in its totality, he kind of slows up as he's going across the field as, they're streaking down for the touchdown. And you see the light come on like, hey, I need to get up and make one more block to make sure this touchdown is secured. So that presence of mind, and then to turn on the Jets and get there and just do enough to get that last little rub for that block. Those are the little things. And anytime you have a good coach, like in any sport, I feel like, and you've covered sports for a long time, like those little details start to stand out to you because you know what the coach is looking for. So it didn't surprise me that he highlighted it.
And every coach in the world loves a player that has instincts where you don't have to teach them some things. Like just you had to clear. Oh, yeah, but I also know what the play is. And so once I know that the ball's coming, that the guy's got the ball and he's running downfield, what can I do to help to get him in the end zone?
What do we talk about, right? The guy's been making stellar plays at practice. Now he starts to shine in the game, but he's not above the team. No block, no rock. And he's been getting the rock a lot this summer, and now there he goes making a block. That's culture.
And I am going to give him a pass on the drop he had in this game because otherwise he played great, and I cannot remember him having a drop in camp up to this point. I may have missed it. It's possible. But that has not been an issue for Caden Davis. So
was that the play where he got crunched on the slant?
Yeah, it was kind of – but it was in here. He should have caught it.
It was in there, but like – it was in there, but that's your bracing for impact moment. But yeah, you got to catch it, right? Third and 6 against the Rams in the NFC Championship. You got to make that play.
Yep. All right, let's hear from Tyson Bagent. Again, we're going to hear from him in person here in a little bit as well, but I do want to hear his post-game press conference to sort of get an idea. It'll help us do our homework for a little bit later on in the show as well to hear what he had to say at the press conference at Soldier Field.
Tyson, how did it feel out there today, first half assessment?
Yeah, I think as far as the assessment goes from a personal level, I think it's nowhere close to my standards, especially how we started off. Going into this first preseason game, thinking back to the first preseason game last year, we had 2 3-and-outs, and then I threw a touchdown to hard time. So I'm like, hey, let's just start a little bit faster than that. And then we had 2 3-and-outs, and then I threw a touchdown to hard time. So hopefully next year when preseason 1 rolls around, we can change that up a little bit. But I thought we did a great job of staying the course. Second quarter, obviously, there were a lot of explosive plays within that quarter. I thought Caden Davis did a great job running fast. And I thought some of those young guys up front getting a lot of meaningful reps with some of the guys that we have out. So a lot of good things, but as far as individually, definitely would like to, obviously got to continue to get better this camp and put a better foot forward starting off next week.
Tyson, where do the hiccups came in those first couple of drives?
Yeah, it just comes from obviously, so the first drive, I thought they played good coverage on that first third down. Second third down, the ball just gets high on me. I got to put it right in the middle of Roush's chest plate, and I think that's just the extent of it. The ball went to exactly who it was supposed to go to, just all about ball placement and being able to move the chains on third down.
Your coaches and the quarterbacks with the Bears talk about how valuable you are to them on the practice field in the meeting room. But is it something different when you can show it on film for the world to see? You've been really good in these preseason settings since you came out of college.
Yeah, I think that you never know when a moment's going to arise. So I think being able to attack each rep like it's your last and really steward it the best that you can is the only way to operate. So that's what I try to do. I spend a lot of time on the sideline watching the games the past 2 years, especially. So when my name is called upon, being able to give confidence to the coaches that I know what I'm doing, that I'm able to be a coach out there on the field for these guys. And be successful and keep the chains moving and put points up on the board.
We've seen other quarterbacks, foreign starters, talk about they believe they're one of the 32 best starters or best quarterbacks walking the earth right now. You have that same belief about yourself?
No, 100%. I think that, in order to be a successful quarterback in this business, you have to have an unrealistic confidence about yourself. And as far as I'm concerned, just like I said, there was a lot of success in that first half, but there's also a lot of unacceptable things that took place to where if I am going to be one of those 32 guys that, I got to play at a higher level and, really just got to start fast. Nobody wants to go 3-and-out on the first 2 drives. So obviously got to improve on that if I am going to be one of those guys in the near future.
Touchdown at hard time. What happened on that play through your eyes?
Yeah, we had a cross concept called, little half roll to the left. They went cover 2 invert on us. Safety didn't do a good enough job taking away the mid cross. A little bit of pressure in my face, so I was able to give hard time something he could work with, and then obviously he was able to do the rest from there. But I thought it was a good play call, and I thought everybody executed pretty well. Obviously got to look at the tape, but I thought it was a pretty solid play call.
What happened on the pick already when Randall L started calling plays, but what was that experience like from your vantage point? And him even sitting in other quarterback meetings, kind of drawing up some plays and talking about some of the favorites?
Yeah, has anybody ever had a better first outing than Antoine Randall L? When it comes to calling plays, I thought he did a great job. But, that's just who he is. He's always prepared. He knows the ins and outs of the playbook. So it was really not surprising for at least us on the sideline to see the amount of success that we were able to have in that second half.
Tyson, Caden Davis has had a really good camp. I know you had the big 41-yarder for him today. I was curious, too, on that, not just that play, but your perspective on the block that he laid to then clear the path. I think you were on the sideline at that point, but to clear the path for Ahmed's touchdown. Yeah,
I think that's just kind of who he is, in the receiver room. As far as I'm concerned, and no block, no rock. So, if you're not throwing your hat and getting your face a little bit dirty on the run plays, or screens for that matter, then they're going to be less inclined to get you the ball. So I think that's just who he is, where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there, and just really just playing his heart out, for the man beside him, that was really the message going into this game.
Has there been an official jersey exchange with Brittain Brown?
Oh yeah. Nah, he does not. I don't think he's got mine. He might, but I don't think he's got mine yet. But yeah, shout out to Brittain Doyle. Super stoked to have him in the city of Chicago. So just Shepherd guys, being able to make a name for himself. He's done extremely well for himself. So excited to have him.
Is this game one?
No, this is not game one.
What happened on the pick?
That is just me being extremely late, complete slappy move on my part. Gotta be better there. I think one less hitch will get the job done, or just move on to the next progression, throw it in the dirt, but by all means, do not throw an interception.
Tyson on that Ahmed touchdown that Case threw, he seemed to want it known that regardless of air yards, that was a 49-yard touchdown pass to the quarterback.
Yeah, I think you go home and you're able to tell your girlfriend, your wife, your kids that you threw a 50-yard touchdown. That it all counts as yards for us. I thought he did a good job with pressure in his face, being able to throw a free throw over the guy and give Salvon a chance. So I thought it was a great play on his part.
Are you able to listen to Al calling plays during that portion?
Yes.
Okay, so what was your experience just kind of being a spectator watching that unfold in the third quarter?
Yeah, I thought it was great. He was reporting to Ben, who then was reporting to the quarterback, so it was still Ben's voice. But I thought that, there was no let up at all. And, like I said before, I don't know if there's ever been somebody that's been that successful their first time calling plays. So hats off to him and hats off to the execution by those guys in the third and fourth quarter.
So it's interesting. It was still Ben Johnson relaying the play calls, but Randall L. was telling Ben what he was calling.
Say that again.
So if I understood that correctly, what he said at the end, that it was still Ben's voice with the play call in the second half.
Randall L.
Randall L. was telling, yes.
That's a good. Okay.
Any chance Ben changed it at any point? Like if he didn't like it?
Oh, yeah, slipped one.
He's like, yeah, sure, we'll call that one. No, let's actually call this one.
That's a good
touchdown.
Call. That's a good call.
I'm just kidding. That's Ben had some really nice things to say about Randall, and obviously Tyson talking about how
prepared he is.
Yeah, and how he had a great debut calling those plays. Again, we're going to hear more from Tyson Bagent coming up in person here at the Chicago Yacht Club, where they are having the 4th annual Bagent Group charity event kickoff classic here. This is awesome.
Well, and that's where it's like, again, I'm not going to go as far to say and disrespect him by saying I feel bad for him. But when he says, next year for preseason game number 1, we're going to have to clean things up. Like, that is just such a daunting task and his reality and how he has to approach his very, minuscule amount of opportunities. And, the only thing I can compare it to is like a golfer, right? Like guys that golf once every month, it's a big deal to go out there and get around it. And when you don't shoot well, it compounds. It gets frustrating. Right. But if you're a maniac and you play every day, well, then you have a bad shot. It's okay. You're gonna get more throws. You can move on. So when he says you got to play every play like it's your last, I respect him and love him for that mentality. But then there is also you have to move on to the next play, and not every play is your last play. Like you've got, but for backup quarterbacks, that's how they have to have that survivor mentality, which is just so much different than being in the captain's chair.
All right, let's check it out now as we like to check it out, sponsored by Old National Bank. We are checking out the rookies here. We got a couple rookies from the locker room to play for you. Every play matters, whether it's on the field or in your financial life. The best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Remember, FDIC. Let's start with the first rounder, Dillon Thieneman, in the locker room after the game, getting his feet wet. Didn't play a ton, but enough there at the beginning of the game with the starters. Here's what DT had to say.
So yeah, I think you could the more reps you get, the better it is. So the more experience you can get, just more reps, more times watching film, talking to other guys. So I feel ready, but the more I can get that, it just prepares me more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that, but taking it just 1 week at a time, focus on the next punt.
Have you talked to Cody since, I don't know if we've talked to you since we found out, his injury is going to take a little bit longer than initially expected. Have you chatted with him? Has he been around since his surgery?
Yeah, he's been back in the building, so I've been talking to him. He's been just reaching out, making sure I'm all good. Like if I had any questions or I needed anything, and I've been checking up on him, but he's doing great so far.
There was some good third down stuff early in the game today. You had a stop on 36, I think, in coverage. How important is it, and how did you feel out there?
I felt good. I felt good moving around. Felt healthy. Felt like everything was like slowing down for me. But obviously there's stuff I can still get better at. A few things I can
So
improve.
explain, how does that, like the slowdown factor, that's pretty fast for it to slow down. You mean from the off-season program up until now?
Yeah, like going through the practices and then getting out there, it just felt like everything was just like a step slower.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't the best.
I'll accept that.
Yeah.
You said that there are things that you want to get better at. What specifically?
I mean, just you can always keep working on your technique, man coverage, making sure your eyes are disciplined, like just all those things.
What's that process like? Getting used to playing with Cam and Xavier is coming here.
Just communication off rip. So just getting to know them, how they like to play, how they see things. Cam and Xavier both coming from different backgrounds, different schemes. So they have a lot of experience, and it's been great playing next to them.
What do you think about
with Kobe still in the building or back in the building? How can he still help you despite not being on the field next to you?
He still has a lot of experience, and they brought him here for a reason. But I know he's got some time, some recovery he's got to go through. But he knows what it is like to be a starting safety, to be out there. So just asking questions from his vantage point, like how he went through his processes or mentally, and then kind of like tendencies of he gets from offenses or like what other coaches have told him.
What did it feel like?
Check out there with rookies. There we go. Steven just hit like 9 buttons.
You know how hard it is to get all these little buttons pressed?
Like
It's
8
a pain.
buttons. Yeah.
If I don't do it right, there's an echo.
Sound like Kiran Amegadjie whining about coming out at the 2-minute drill after sitting the whole
Yes.
second quarter.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable, Steven.
Yeah.
No, I actually defended Kiran. I'm going to defend Steven, too. I'm just giving you a hard time. All right, we're still checking out the rookies. So we go from Dillon to Malik Muhammad, who had a couple splashy plays today. Also got called for a penalty, but had plenty of playing time and opportunity to get his feet wet. The rookie out of Texas. Here is Malik Muhammad.
I would definitely say run-fits, gap schemes, knowing where to fit, knowing once you get inside of the 40 or you get inside of the 20 or 30, just knowing where your fit is in different calls. And then just knowing where your help is, knowing the spacing, knowing what the timing is going to be. But I'll say those are the challenging things.
How did it feel for you out there today? Obviously, you made a big play blowing up the screen, but just overall, what did it feel like?
I mean, really just getting my feet wet, playing in front of a crowd again in the NFL now. But at the end of the day, man, I just tell myself, man, you're a rookie, bro. You just go out there and play. You're going to make mistakes. Just go out there and fly around and just be you, play ball.
And when it comes to like making mistakes, overcoming, how do you feel like you've had, adjusting to life in the NFL?
Yeah, so that's the thing about me. Like, I don't want to make no mistakes. But now just talking to guys like Jalen Johnson or Kobe Bryant or even like Josh Blackwell and some more of the other guys who've been here for a long time, who've been playing in the league for a long time, they just tell you, man, they getting paid just like you are. Like, they didn't get drafted or they're not on a team for no reason. So you're going to make mistakes. You're going to give up plays. Just make the next play your best play.
So there's Malik Muhammad, who I think overall had a good debut for the Bears today. He had a tackle for loss, which he needs to show. I mean, that's probably covering's the most important thing in the slot, but you got to also be able to come up and stop the run, and to have that nice TFL in the backfield was I think a good moment for him. And yeah, the hold wasn't great a little bit later on, but I think overall a week ago, I probably would have said I'm a little bit worried about how fast he can catch on because he was sort of trailing and definitely having a lot of rookie moments, but I think he's really come on in the last week.
Well, I was excited to see him get challenged as much as he was today, and obviously you can see he's a willing tackler, so can he be a disciplined tackler? Can he be instinctive? Because, as Steven was talking about before the game, you're in that nickel slot, you're going to be asked a lot to make tackles that aren't always the most comfortable for DBs to make. But he's got the right frame, right? And so it feels like he's got the right instincts and mentality. So, obviously over the last couple of weeks with the rain and stuff, practice has kind of been dodgy in terms of how I've been able to see, because I've seen him make a few plays, but if you're saying in the last week, you started to be like, all right, where's he at? It was
I said the opposite.
The opposite.
Yeah. I thought he was starting slow
Okay.
in camp, and then I think the last week he's really come on strong.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's great
Yeah.
to hear, and then you see it here kind of shine through here today.
Yeah, so that is checking it out as we checked out the rookies, sponsored by Old National Bank. Every play matters, whether it's on the field or in your financial life. The best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Member FDIC. I think you got something?
Yeah, I just wanted, while we got nearly 2,000 live viewers here watching the show, and some might be new to the program, right?
Yes.
Well, this is our 5th Bears season covering the Bears, and we do a lot of fun things and pre- and post-game shows. You can expect every single game. We do shows 5 days a week, 6 days a week, literally during the season.
Sometimes 8 days a week.
8 days a week. And
Steven works 9 days a week every week.
Steven works 9 days a week.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of different programming that we're going to bring to you here this season. Written content from Adam Johns, Patrick Norton, Adam Hoge, Mark Carman. These guys are killing it. So becoming a diehard, coming to our events, coming to our tailgates, watching the shows. Like, there's just a lot we offer here as far as the community that we build and the content we bring. And, this chat just grows and grows every year. And we got our OGs, right? We got the ones that have been here since day one, but all newcomers are welcome, and we're looking forward to meeting you guys. And, after a few months, if you're new here, you never know. You might end up in my cul-de-sac swimming in my pool.
Yeah, there's
like a 60% chance that'll happen to you.
I've never done that.
Well, you are afraid of the region. Yeah, you guys.
Don't put that on me.
Everything going on.
I think I was invited one time.
You're afraid of the region. You guys.
Steven, how often do you get invited to his house? Every day?
I'm actually moving in.
Yeah. I was invited one time, and then we made fun of the cul-de-sac text, and then we've never been again.
That's right. I did put the ban on you.
I got banned for.
I forgot about the ban. That was initially why, because you made fun of me when I invited you guys.
Well, technically, Carm started.
Well, really, what happened was I sent out a group text to the majority of the people I think everybody that we work with. It was like my first year, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Hey, everybody, come out to my house. And I said I had plenty of parking in my cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And now for
Humble
5
brag.
years, all I hear is about the parking that you can have at your expense if you come out to the Braggs residence.
It's good for you because when they build the stadium down the street, you're going to have all that parking to sell.
The tailgates are going to be lit.
Yeah. By the way, we do a lot of events too, and we got a couple big ones coming up as well that we should mention, because the golf outing is what?
August 28th.
Less than 2 weeks away now at this point.
Less than 2 weeks away, August 28th, presented by Sunnyside. Go to allchgo.com/events. There's different group packages, whether you want to be a 2-man or a 4-man, or if you even want to join a group and play with me, you can do that. There's a lot of different options at your disposal. Corey Wooten will be there. He can hit them far.
Woot.
He can hit them far.
I miss
We'll see
Woot.
if he can hit them straight, though.
We should mention that too. This post-game show is more like sort of a post-practice show, the way we're doing it. Like when we get to the season, when the Bears play the Panthers, we're going to have Corey Wooten, we're going to have Lance Briggs, we're going to have Jerry Zuma, we're going to have a whole group. We like to have fun on game days, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So nobody's doing it better than we are. And also, we announced this on the pregame. The 2026 CHGO football kickoff party is happening at Utopian Tailgate the night the season starts. It's presented by Xfinity. There's going to be samplings from Casa Amigos, Crown Royal, Kettle One. It's a free event, Wednesday, September 9th. That's the night the Seahawks play the Patriots to kick off the season. Before the game, we're going to do a live recording of Hoge and Johns, and we're also going to do a live Q&A. These are going to be exclusive for the people that are there. It's not going to be live streaming on YouTube. The Hoge and Johns show will eventually air, but it's not going to be live. And we're going to do the live Q&A for those of you that show up. And again, it's a free event, so we hope to see you there. It goes from 6 to 10 on Wednesday, September 9th, the kickoff party.
Did you say about the free Crown Royal?
Yes, sampling.
Sampling.
The
free Crown Royal sampling.
It's very important. They're not just handing everybody free Crown Royal all night.
I'm going to be sampling.
I'm sure you will be. I'm sure you will. We still have Jamree Kromah to play, I think.
Your best for the day.
That was my best. Let's hear from him, and then we'll learn a little bit about Jamree.
Let's do it.
Yes.
He's not getting much podium time, so let's hear it.
Honestly, the guy's been on the team for 3 years. This might be the first time I've heard from
Well,
him.
I mean, that's fair, so let's getting to know you.
Jamree Kromah, here he is.
So, of course, like playing defense, we also showed that I could play special teams because special teams is everything, and that's how you build value. So it's just the way I look at it, just take advantage of every single opportunity to put myself in the best position possible, try to control it, and then let everything fall in place.
What was your offseason like this time around, just trying to get prepared for camp?
I'll say one thing I did for sure, like change my body and like nutrition, because I was much more heavier last year. So I wanted to make some changes by losing weight. I lost over 20 pounds, but got stronger and then, put more lean mass on. So it's like, this is the best I felt. So I took advantage of a lot of things and made some changes. But I had to look at the man in the mirror, be true to myself, and come up with a real plan.
Was that something the coaches wanted from you, or is a decision you kind of made on your own?
I'll say a little bit of both, but I feel like if it was something that's benefited me, I feel like most definitely it's going to benefit like the coaches, especially if it's on the right track and me losing weight, but also not losing my strength, get stronger, and being much more better athlete. Can't have any other way different or better than that. Awesome, thank you.
So that's cool hearing from Jamree Kromah, who had himself a day and got on the map. 59 is his number, just if you're trying to keep an eye on him. Again, he's been around for a few third year now with the Bears. Third training camp, I should say, with the Bears. He did get a cup of coffee with the Patriots in the middle of it, where they actually signed him to their active roster. Then when they let him go, he came back to Chicago, played at James Madison, which I think would have been the Curt Cignetti years.
Okay.
Right? I think that adds up. I'm just doing that off the top of my head, but I think that's right. Maybe it's just a hair, but while I was watching the game, and I just looked up Chase Young's measurables on this one, because he kind of was giving me some Chase Young vibes a little bit. Just the way he was rushing. And he said it right there. He lost 20 pounds. And so he's not quite as tall as Chase Young. Chase Young is 6'5", Jamree's 6'3". And again, I'm not trying to make a comparison to a guy that was a really high draft pick. I'm just saying the style in which I saw him rushing today gave me a little bit of those vibes. Weight-wise, though, Jamree's listed at 268, Chase Young is 265 down there in New Orleans. So the reason why I like to do player comps. They're fun.
Yeah. No, I get it. What you're saying is Jamree Kromah is Chase Young. That's what we heard.
Maybe they should have signed Chase Young.
Yeah, I mean,
they could have.
I think they could have for sure. And I think overall, when you hear say, "Hey, I lost 20 pounds," it's playing a little faster, right? I think overall, and this was something we said during our little halftime report video we put out on Twitter, but I felt like in this game, if you look at its totality, I'm with Ben. There's Ben Johnson saying there's a lot of things they need to work on and clean up. 100% agree. But I also thought there was a lot of cookie crumbs that you could take from and say, oh, this was a positive, this was a positive. And one of those in particular was I thought there was little moments that the defense did show an upgrade in speed in certain areas. And Jamree Kromah, talking about losing 20 pounds, there were certain guys we talked about earlier flying around on the defensive line making plays. And then you had Devin Bush at one point flying around early on, Dillon Thieneman on that third down. We highlighted that. So little things like that for me, it wasn't, a full picture. It's a small sample size, and that's why I call it cookie crumbs, but positive ones in that. And Jamree Kromah provided a lot of cookie crumbs that resulted in something that was a fairly healthy resume by the end of the day.
And I kind of forgot why I brought up Chase Young in the first place, but remember, he was with Dennis Allen in 2024 down there in New Orleans too. So just stop. You just sometimes wonder, these guys like their types. If that maybe we'll have to do some more digging on that and find out a little bit more about why the weight loss happened. But maybe that was a challenge from Dennis Allen.
Yeah,
but it seems like look when they keep you around for a few years. It means that they're still trying to develop you, because a lot of times you'll see like an undrafted guy come through, he'll make the practice squad the first year, and then the second year it's like, all right, we'll move on, we'll find some other guy to come in and take your spot on the practice squad, because there's only so many spots available. Right. The fact that they brought him back too after he signed with the Patriots
shows they're still invested in his development.
So, interesting name. It's always fun with these preseason games to see somebody like that pop, and we'll keep an eye on number 59 the rest of the preseason to see if he can continue to make splash plays because they need more pass rush. And I like the comment, motivated Jamree.
Motivated Jamree.
We're just going to say that about every defensive end now.
Like I said, and I know I highlighted Dio once again early in the show, and like I'm rooting for this motivated thing to be a very positive thing that is embraced, here at the end of the year, and not something that becomes a negative connotation towards players. So we can have fun with it now, and let's hope when we get into the season, the whole defense is motivated as they've got the spotlight on them.
He mentioned special teams in that interview, too. I see Bo Chanton's comment. I wonder if potentially comes down to Kromah and Hardy for that fourth DN spot. I would be shocked if Hardy doesn't make the team. They just love him on special teams too much.
They have him play offense.
Yeah, he does everything.
They literally had him one time last year, San Francisco. You're like, who is that out there? He's playing Hardy.
Yeah. So Daniel Hardy is the definition of a guy that if you ask him to go try to play quarterback right now, he'll go do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think it'll necessarily come down to those two guys because I think Hardy would just be so far ahead of Jamree Kromah in terms of special teams. But I will say, Bo Chanton, losing 20 pounds, maybe getting a little bit faster to be able to do more on kickoff cover, stuff like that, that could help his case quite a bit. It doesn't necessarily have to be an either or there. And he should also be somebody that could probably still get to the practice squad, I would think. Although when you ball out in these preseason games, it does kind of expose you a little bit more. That's for sure. All right. Let's do super chats here while we continue to wait for Tyson Bagent, who's making his way over from the stadium and will join us to see the rain has restarted out
That's
here.
what I thought. I was like, oh, man, thank God. We have – if there's one thing we need around here, it's rain.
Yeah, it's been a dry summer.
Yeah, and now it's back. Thank God. I mean, we just didn't have enough.
All right. Steven, you want to help read these?
Yeah, I got
Since
you.
they're in front of you. Thank you, buddy.
Zero Demon, $20. He says, what does this button do? And he sends us a super chat with it.
Okay. Good job. Zero Demon.
We got
either that or he's making fun of you for hitting all the buttons you hit.
this was earlier.
It was
so
earlier in the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Zero Demon.
A little forecasting there.
Right.
Yeah. A little foreshadowing.
That's what you're going for. Nice show.
I found it.
Forecast is rain, Rex. Solid Angle, $10. He says, it's preseason for Super Chats too. Go Bears.
That's right.
Our guy Brawlsack is back. And he says, guess I'll be happy all week and eat steak. My family and coworkers thank you, Bagent, Case, Mo, Ahmed, and defense.
Yeah, Brawlsack was stressing out pregame about having his week ruined over a preseason game. I will say this. This guy over here was stressing out a little bit at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if there's one thing that gets my blood boiling is when there is an apparent either ball on the ground and they think the play is dead, but it might not be dead, or if a ball carrier falls to the ground and you don't know if he's down or not. And if there's anything that's going to instinctually have me just scream like a caveman in any setting, it really doesn't matter if it's at, a sports bar or if we're at like this sophisticated yacht club where everybody's like dressed nice and being quiet and being polite, and there's like rules that you got to kind of abide by. And then there's Greg screaming about tackle, get on the ball, because Lovie Smith drilled it into my head.
At least you
15
didn't yell
years ago.
Kill today like you sometimes
Yeah, normally
do.
I yell kill.
That would have been.
Now that's a regular. I'm not trying to kill here in the preseason,
Okay.
but we are trying to make sure that we finish the play even after the whistle, in case, as we've seen in years past, like balls on the ground, don't just leave it up to the refs.
You got
Pick that ball up.
PTSD from the 2013
You're 100%.
week 7. Now, I have a question for you since you do a show with Lance Briggs. Have you ever talked to him about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we have. No.
Sometime you got to talk about it.
All right.
Because it causes you so much pain.
It does, and the reason being is because no coach advocated to make sure that didn't happen more than Lovie Smith. And
Yeah,
then in the most pivotal moment, and something they were so great, they were known for.
Yeah, but Lovie wasn't there anymore.
Well, I know that,
That was-
but the players on the team.
No, but once Mel showed up, they all forgot everything.
Yeah.
It looked like it.
Could be. I'll talk to Lance about it.
Yeah,
It's give me a few weeks. Brick by brick. We're getting started here soon, and but let me get a few episodes in before I start bringing up the bad memories. drilling them with it.
Yeah. Okay. Couple more supers here.
Big one here from Bear Down under $50.
Let's go.
Football is back. Appreciate your round the year coverage, gentlemen. Have a round on me. Bear Down.
Oh, thank you, Bear Down.
Sweet. I
Yeah.
mean, well, if that's the case, I mean, what around at we could go to Steeplechase, or we could go.
We're doing round of golf.
Isn't that what he's offering?
Yeah. We'll have to do the conversion rate because I think those were Australian dollars. I saw
that makes sense because he said Bear Down under.
He said a round's on him. We had to go over to Stonewall Orchard or something.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Good luck. It rains every morning.
I'll find a way.
Brad Hassey sends a $5 super chat.
Yes.
And then lastly, we got Carm's Yawn, who's just consistent as Carm's Yawn is. Preseason game 1 thoughts. The second unit D had juice. Chef Case cooked. Depth players flashed. Hoge's A+ draft grade is still undefeated. Life's just better when the Bears are playing football. We're back, boys.
Yeah, we are back.
That is should we do a check-in on the old A+?
Well, I mean, there's moments, right? Everything's kind of like screenshotted moments, right? Because I know you and Patrick were having a conversation about a specific block by Logan Jones at one point in the game.
Yeah, he was blocking. It looked like Caden Barnett.
Yeah, his own player.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure there were some highs and some lows for the rookies here today.
Well, we did this on Hoge and Johns last week where we it's not blind power ranking, but sort of on a whim power rank the rookies. So we had, I still feel like Vandenberg might be on top. Well, Xavier, I think, was on top, but now he's been hurt, so I think he's got to come down a little bit. Vandenberg kind of had a big week. I thought he kind of had a quiet game today, though. It's not like
I agree.
I don't think he did bad, but he didn't really pop as much as I was thinking. Malik Muhammad's come back up, for sure. Malik Muhammad looks pretty good. I think Dillon Thieneman's come up, for sure. I think, at least these guys are trending in the right direction. I think Logan Jones might be trending in the wrong direction so far a little bit. And then Keyshawn Elliott we haven't seen, although little nugget from Stacey Dales in the middle of that broadcast. She did say that we might see Keyshawn Elliott this coming week.
Okay.
And so I couldn't hear a whole lot of the broadcast. Stacey does such a great job, but she did put that in there at one point. I did manage to hear, and that would be big because we have not seen him yet.
That would be big. So,
and then Sam Roush is trending up too.
I agree. I mean, if I had to give my rankings, my power rankings, it would go Xavier Thomas, Sam Roush.
Okay.
Then I would go Malik Muhammad.
Okay.
And that's with today's grades. If it was before today, this might have sounded different, but I got Malik up there.
Okay. What about
then
Vandenberg?
Jordan Vandenberg.
Okay.
That's how much I value preseason reps. I know the training camp reps have been good.
Yeah.
You got to show up here in these preseason games, especially these guys are getting a lot of run. And then you start trending down here. Dillon's still moving his way up. I doesn't mean I don't believe in Dillon. I was a big advocate of bringing him in. And I will say for Dillon Thieneman today, sometimes for me, I have to see the game two ways to try to figure out I have a certain way of how I evaluate players, and it's just how I've watched football my entire life. I'm not going to ever pretend like I really know what I'm looking at from a nuanced level, although I've learned things and picked things up as we've gone along, right? So do feel like I have somewhat of an educated eye, and one of those is just the eye test in terms of how you watch them at practice and at training camp, how they stack up against NFL talent. But then the next one is, when you watch them on TV and see how it translates versus a different team and how you've watched football your entire life, and does it look right? And hearing Dillon Thieneman earlier, we kind of were going through some different things where he said the game slowed down for him. I thought he looked like he belonged out there. Did he make any huge play that you're like, wow, and we're, headlines to show? No, but it didn't look like where every day you're watching practice and Colson Loveland's eating them alive, and it's like there wasn't a moment today where I was like, oh, he doesn't belong on the football field, where Colson Loveland can make you look like you don't belong on the football field at all times, right? And that's what we've kind of been struggling with, is that evaluation. So Dillon moving up, and then, Logan Jones still trying to find his way. So long-winded answer of kind of where my power rankings are at.
So where are we at on the grade then? Like, what's your updated grade?
Yeah, we're not A+. I mean, we're not there yet, but no early grades. Come on now. We got to be fair to these guys.
How about a B?
Don't make me put a grade on these guys. Come on. This is ridiculous. They're it's 3 weeks in. That's not fair.
Oh, I did it the day after the draft.
Well, that was stupid.
No, it wasn't. That's our job, to evaluate the draft. Right, Mark Carman? I see standing by boy right now.
My best is 7 different things.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do, Adam Hoge. That's why you get paid the big bucks. Other people have to wait and see for years, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's really good. I give him an A." You don't do that. That's what you just jumped me into a whole nother land of.
Look
anybody
how disheveled he looks.
I listen.
It's not a camping trip. Give him a break.
He looks stressed out.
Also, Steven already talked to you about talking when they're talking. You can't do that when we're on remote. Go ahead, Carm.
Okay, I am disheveled. I just came off the tennis court. I was trying to see if you guys needed me. I didn't think you did, and I know you don't because you're doing a phenomenal job. But I wanted to help out because I know you're waiting for Tyson. And we're in the big house right now. I'm probably annoying at least 3 people, but that's it's good to see you guys. I loved the pregame show. It was not that fun to sit in a Packers bar and watch start out with 2 3 and outs, but then we got it going. Good to see the touchdown to Maurice, and there was it was an up and down day, but I thought overall it ended on a big time up, and a lot of guys made some strides today. Case was great in his spot, and overall I thought it was a good day for the Bears.
Well, sometimes you got to get up and down, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That means you're fighting. That means you're scratching and clawing to get to par. Right, right, Carm?
What is his 8th golf analogy since we got here 7 hours ago?
Hoge, what are you looking at right now? You look like there's something exciting.
I'm looking at you, Carm, because I can only see you on Steven's screen, so I'm looking over here. I guess I should look at the camera and pretend I'm looking at you, but I want to see how disheveled you look.
You're good. You're good. Yeah. So, listen, I have never had more anxiety in my life than I had today getting ready for this preseason game. Like it was the Super Bowl for me, for 17, for Shepherd University, for Travis, for this remote to go well. By the way, that steering wheel yacht thing behind you is one of the greatest things that I've ever seen. I hope you guys take at least 4 pictures and send one to me just to put this.
Studio.
Thank you. That's the play. And what you were talking about on the broadcast, just to give a shout out, Stacey Dales was so damn good today. Had so much information. Honestly, I didn't take my detailed Carm notes like I normally do, but Hoge, she was outstanding.
Yeah, she was in there this week doing her homework and getting all ready. Although it was right after she spent, I think, a day or 2 up in Lambeau, so we might have to.
Did you guys
secrets though?
Did you guys give Caden Davis a roster spot, or do you think he's still fighting for one?
He's certainly so far making it pretty hard to keep him off the team. Is where I'm at on that. And roster cut downs in 2 weeks from tomorrow would be roster cut down. So we're getting closer and closer to that. And he does a lot. He looks good. It's just a matter of how many wide receivers they can actually keep, Carm.
Yeah, no, I get it, and maybe turns into a practice squad guy, but keeps making plays. He's been making them all training camp long. He had a nice catch on a good anticipation throw from Tyson. He went to him a couple of times. The guy's been impressive. Am I correct that it was a good day for Kiran on first watch here?
That's the initial knee-jerk reaction. I mean, I did isolate him on a few times, and we had the iPad out, so we were able to kind of watch a few plays over. And from my untrained eye, as I've said a few times here during training camp, just to be fair to the audience and understanding of what I'm seeing, but I thought I'd be with you. I think at first glance, I would say Kiran had a better day than Wills did, but that's at first glance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to take myself inside the mindset of what Kiran's got to be, living with every day. Basically, I've never gotten an opportunity. I've already sort of feel like I've been discarded. Look, I'm going to show you that I'm better than what you think I am. And he's probably the healthiest one playing the position right now. Yep. So I don't know if he can actually fully get himself in the mix, but that would be an interesting development if I haven't heard Ben, if he, maybe later in the week, what he has to say about his performance. so we'll see just how that one moves along here.
Well, that's a fair point too. He brought up the post game. First of all, he called it up and down, so he wasn't necessarily thrilled with his own performance. But it's like the first time playing real football in a year too, in a game, and I think that's a fair point too. Like some of these guys, not unlike Tyson. I mean, it's not easy to not play football for a whole year in an actual game and then go out there and be like, your like career is on the line right now. You have to play well no matter what. Like that's tough.
Oh, look at this guy, dapper.
Travis just.
It's like It's like James Bond just walked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Carm on the line right now.
Like honestly, you're more like James Bond's villain. You know,
that's good.
I think you'd be more the Bond villain role.
Travis.
You got it, man. We're having fun over here.
All right, yeah. Travis just walked in to give us a little bit of update on Tyson. He said he'll be here soon, and he was dressed. Carm, you forgot to tell us this was a black tie event. Great details, but you left that one out.
You'll be shocked to know I'm dressed like an idiot.
Just for the record, that's not on me. That's on the guy that you're looking at right now. He did not tell me that it is a black tie event at all.
It's not. I'm just messing with you. Like a couple of them are wearing suits. A lot of people here are hanging out wearing Bears gear. I wanted to cause you a little bit of a heart attack for half a second.
Okay, well, I bet Travis is in his. I'll give him the free pub. His Balani custom-made situation. That's how the Bagents roll. So. Which I hear rumors, by the way, that they might dial us up and get us, take some measurements, and maybe we'll get our own custom suit here because Balani loves the CHGO Bears podcast. So just
I could use one because I've unfortunately outgrown my previous custom suits in the belly region.
Right there with Carm. That was like when Johnny Drama went on Jimmy Kimmel and got the TV. He's like, and we love, get the electronics. Shout out. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's good, Carm. Love you.
Hey, just shake the right hands up there. You're with some very important people.
So we can't hear
you. This isn't, this isn't the normal CHGO studio, which I'm sure we will all be happy to get back to. But there's some opportunity for you guys, so I'm expecting to do well. Perhaps have a drink or two, and tell everybody that I'm really, really sad that I'm not there. But I can't wait to meet them in the future.
Okay, those instructions that were put in the email, but I will inform my wife I'm not coming home. Carm, what's on the docket for you tonight? Like what's happening up there at camp?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, Hoge, and I'll just get out my Camp Amegadjie pennant for you, which is readily available here at the Big House. Also, by the way, these are available, the 2026 shirts, Camp Amegadjie right there for you. Tonight, tonight is what they call the GTC. It's the Good Time Charlie, so we're going to be singing the songs, and there's a little talent show extraordinaire. Happy hour does start in 6 minutes, although I did start my happy hour at noon today down at the Bridges. So I might sit this one. I mean, I had to dial it back in the third quarter, switched over to the club soda. Vacation you don't want it to, I don't have that brag stamina. So I had to, yeah. So I might, we'll play we're playing the Hearts at happy hour here. Got a good crew. No actual dollars on the line, just for the love of the game. And that's the story here. And we go into we got the council fire tomorrow night. I'll send you a whole pamphlet. I know you guys are coming up next year. Here's the information. And we're it's a good time.
I mean, at this point, we need to do a remote show up there. I thought, are you sure you're not at a senior home?
This actual building would qualify that I'm in. This thing was built in like 1842.
When he called, like one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take the liberty of no, I won't. But there's some good black there's some good black and white photos on the wall here that definitely have been up here since the early 30s. So
how much of a discount are you getting for this pub that you're giving them?
That was funny that because I did that one amazing swim video earlier this week on Instagram. They're like you should tag us in those. I'm like I did, and I'm expecting a major discount next year.
All right, Carm. Well, enjoy your time.
Thank
I'm impressed
you.
with the Wi-Fi at Camp Amegadjie. I gotta say,
Well,
it's better than your home studio.
Yeah, well, this is the one spot, the one seat in camp where this works, because I tried to send in my post game video for 8 hours before it finally went through via text to Steven. So I hope
just keep you in that spot, then. Right?
All right. I hope I helped you for 10 minutes. Tell 17 when he gets here that love him and can't wait for game 2. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Thank you for carrying the torch. You guys are just leaders and champions and my heroes. So thank you.
All right, Carm. Enjoy your last few days up there. I know you'll be sad when you leave, and we'll see you back in studio in a few days.
Perfect. See you guys.
By the way, we are the full information on where we're at as we await Tyson Bagent's arrival is we are at the 4th annual Bagent Group preseason kickoff at the Chicago Yacht Club. It is a charity event, and they got some events and food going on behind us here in the other room.
Auction off items that look really cool that I almost ran out of here with.
Well, don't do that.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to, but I felt like it.
Yeah, you thought about leaving the post-game show before it even started. You're like, ooh, there's a Caleb Iceman signed jersey. It says Iceman on it. I might just take that and go.
Run out of here. I'm like, what is going on here? There's all sorts of good merch in there.
And hey, when I was talking to Travis just now, he was telling me that next year, Tyson does the Bagent camp every single year. Next year is going to be at Wintrust Arena.
Wow.
So good spot for the camp. So I mean, if you got a kid that wants to be a quarterback, that's the right guy to learn from.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh wow, in the arena. So.
Oh yeah, we got the power
Steven.
trip. Good eye. Good
power
eye.
trip fumble. Thank you. That's what good looking out right there.
Good looking out.
Yeah.
And he's rocking a Lovington Urlacher High School jersey.
Oh, that's
there.
what that is.
Yeah. That's old school there.
Wow, I didn't even.
Yeah, there was a couple guys at training camp in Bourbonnais that would rock it. So it's cool to see that back. You don't see that as much anymore. That's vintage right there. Good stuff. And good eye. That's awareness. Your quarterback awareness is through the roof.
Urlacher instincts right there.
It really was.
Yeah.
So good for him.
All right. I have a few other notes to get to here. There were a couple things from Ben that we did not discuss.
Yeah.
He did say that the quarterback got hit more than he'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like if you get hit once, that's probably more than you'd like. But,
right.
But yeah, that was it. And then he said the run game was spotty. And he wasn't really sure he didn't really want to evaluate the left tackle position until he got to get into the tape, which is a fair thing to do. That's kind of how I feel right now on the post game.
Yep.
And then if you missed it, we knew a little bit about this pregame, but a little bit more detail. So the Bears basically had a practice before the game today with the starters, the guys that did not play. It was a 60-play pregame throwing session. So I don't think that's a coincidental number because he wants to be running 60 plays a game. I think they essentially ran through a game script before the game on the field. Not at full speed, but I was listening to ESPN 1000 coming down, listening to their pregame show, and they were talking it up pretty good. And they also mentioned that Luther Burden was running around and essentially sprinting. It sounded
amazing to hear.
So that's a really good development considering the correct level of panic over potentially losing
Absolutely.
Luther Burden. It does not sound like that's going to be catastrophic. Would you ideally like him to get a little bit more preseason action, practice time, all those things, more chemistry with Caleb? Absolutely. However, it did look pretty damn good when he was out there before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So my level of concern on that one, if it was raising at all, it is pretty much back down. I feel
better.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah. So those were my notes.
Okay,
that
I
had
didn't know
left
if you
over.
had a few more, but like the one that in particular that I was a little surprised to hear Ben say immediately go to, I didn't feel like we kept the quarterback up enough. Because, I did feel like the quarterback got pressured, but I also think that there was times where there was good protection too. So I was interested to hear that he chose in that spot to say, I'm going to be tougher on the offensive line here than the quarterback, and or just in general, whether it was the drops, with the wide receivers or ball placement. He did mention some of those things. I think Tyson really talked about that in his presser, but it was interesting to hear Ben, who I always feel like is very strategic with his messaging, how he specifically said, hey, the quarterback was on the ground. And to your point, one time is more than enough for him.
Right. Well, and they only got sacked twice. I think one of them must have been in the second half, because I only remember Tyson getting sacked once, unless I'm forgetting that. But I think it was just that one. Of course, it was not a great sack because it was right before that the first half was about to end, and then they had to back up, and then luckily Cairo kicked a field goal. We haven't talked about Cairo yet. He had 3 field goals. They were all 49 plus. He missed the first one, pulled it left a little bit. I'll have to go back and watch the snap, because I know you brought up that some people on Twitter were saying the snap wasn't great. I didn't notice that live, but I certainly will go back and look at it. And then he bounced back and he made the next 2, and they were all 3 of them were from deep. So that was good to see him bounce back.
He has graduated from someone that I was trying to get rid of
to
someone that I've seen enough. I want you to give him the pass and let him go to the right, because when Ben, it was 4th down and 5. And the first team of this game was out there, and Tyson was out. I'm like, go for it. And they kicked the field goal and he missed it. I'm like, just go for it. Unless we're trying to get the misses out of his system, and then you push back like, hey, he needs to practice. It's the only time they're going to be there till win. I mean, when's the next home game? It's Soldier
like
Field.
September 20th, right?
Yeah, I could look it up. But it was a fair point. But yeah, I'm like, I want to go for it every time. I know what Cairo has earned my trust so much, as I was like one of his top haters, to now I've apologized publicly. I already did that last year. He's proved me wrong time and again. For the first time in my life, I got to eat some crow. And so that's what it is. Cairo has shut me up to the point now where I'm saying he gets a pass. I've seen enough personally. I know you wanted to see him today.
Okay, well then who's kicking the ball off?
Caden,
play football
time out.
games.
You said Daniel Hardy will do anything, so we make him do it. We make him
I guess
do
there
it.
was a dirty kick from Torrey Taylor today. You still got to execute your kickoffs and stuff. So I'm also not worried about him getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need to put the kicker on the free pass list. This is an exclusive list, okay?
I'm letting too many people in the club.
This is Colson Lovin and DeAndre Swift.
Okay,
right now.
I'm letting too many
Caleb
people in the
hasn't
club.
gotten there.
This was my problem, right? Like, there's the people that, in my opinion, are smart that want to bring 50 people to their wedding, and then there's me who brings 287 people to their wedding, and that's me. I want everybody in the club.
Well, I am going to keep adding people to this club as we get there, but we're not there. We're not going to force it.
It's an exclusive club.
It is. It is.
Can we talk about the run game real quick?
Sure.
Because obviously Roschon gets the start today, and I'm watching him. It was nothing spectacular. I'm wondering, do you guys feel as strongly as I do when I say that Roschon Johnson is firmly on the roster bubble, and days like the one that Salvon Ahmed had today could make that bubble pop?
Yeah. Let's look at the rushing stats real quick. So Roschon had the most carries. He had 8 for 34, which isn't bad. He had 4.3 yards per carry. But 19 of those came on one run where he finally bounced it out a little bit. That run did look good. Mm-hmm. The rest of them was like, all right. We were talking about this during the game. I like Salvon Ahmed. I've been bringing him up. Thank you for the people in the comments that have, backed me up on that for seeing him today. He had a couple really nice runs today, just 2 carries. I'm surprised that number's that low for 17 yards. And then, of course, he caught the screen pass. He caught 3 balls in the backfield at 55 yards. Of course, one of those was a 49-yard touchdown. Coleman Bennett had a nice touchdown run, but otherwise that was basically his highlight. Point I'm trying to make is you also have Brittain Brown out there, too. I like Brittain Brown. I think he showed you something last year. I like Salvon Ahmed. Then you add the obvious fact that as much as we can talk about these guys, the reality is that DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monunga are really your running backs.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Roschon's expendable. I like Roschon. He's had his chances. He's had his opportunities. I know he helps you on special teams a little bit here and there, but it's almost like we've gotten to the Travis Homer part of this where it's like, all right, I get it, but are you really going to be missing that much if you let him go?
Well, that's where I was joking with you, where it's like this, you call it the pass list, but it's the I've seen enough. And you've got the good players that we've seen enough of, and then you've got the players that we've seen enough of, right? Respectfully.
Right, yeah, there's no
negative.
disrespect. But if they cut Roschon Johnson, I don't think anybody's going to think twice about it.
Well, and it feels like they've given a lot of opportunities here at camp, first-team reps at times with guys being either Swift, who they're protecting, or Monangai, who had some injuries. Now today, getting a lot of action, and it's almost like they're telling them, like, here's your last chance.
But we were talking a little bit during the game, too, and I was asking you guys, I'm like, in Roschon Johnson's best role should probably be short yardage. And Braggs, you immediately said, well, that's Kyle Monangai.
All day.
And I agree. So then next thing I go to is, well, then what is Roschon Johnson's role? And if we don't know the answer to that, I think that's the answer.
Well, it's probably special teams. And I think this answer, I was listening to Ben while we were playing it, and we had a couple other people in here talking. So I missed he was talking about Salvon Ahmed, but he was talking about one of the running backs he just needs to prove pass protection and special teams.
Yes, and I believe he was talking
about
something.
So that shows you that they still – I think they're on board with him as a running back, and they're on board with him as a pass catcher, and you saw that today. But you do – to make the team, you have to pass protect, and you have to be able to contribute on special teams. And to Roschon Johnson's credit, those are things he does do.
Well, and as much as we highlight the wide receiver 3 battle and how that's all going to shake out, the reality is whether you have Jade Walker, Khalif Raymond, Caden Davis jumping into that room, obviously Xavier Thomas, a drafted pick there and has a lot of potential and obviously a big investment there as a team. Like those guys, whether who's going to be 3, they're all going to get opportunities. And Ben talked about it in the presser where it's like, hey, we've got to figure out who our running back 3, 4, and 5 is. And yes, DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai are your 1 and 2 punch. But one of those guys go down, and now all of a sudden this becomes a more important deal here. So obviously to make the team, you've got to have some special teams contributions. But as we saw last year in a pinch in a game against the Bengals where Brittain Brown goes off, and you're looking at NFC North where the margins are razor thin, this is arguably RB3 is arguably a more important decision than wide receiver 3, because I feel like whoever you put at wide receiver 3, Ben's going to get that production. They got to make sure they get this right with the RB3 decision. And to your point, Roschon, they have kicked the tires on this for how many years, and he is who he is. I liked the second effort at one point in the game where it looked like he was going to get tackled for loss. Second effort got him ahead of line of scrimmage a couple yards, but little things like that are important, and I know it is to this coaching staff, but just at the end of the day, just not enough burst that you need, especially with Ben Johnson always looking for speed.
There were some injury notes around the league I wanted to mention too. Jamal Adams went down today, which sounds like a serious knee injury for the Vikings, and he was a late signing that they made, but it was turning some heads, and his style of play in that defense with Brian Flores had me a little worried because Flores just seems like that just seems like a good fit for me.
Sounds like people that cover Vikings training camp said he was playing really well there too.
Yeah, and I know Kevin O'Connell said after the game it did not look good. So perhaps a season ender there. Certainly relevant in the NFC North. The other one was DJ Moore went down in their preseason game today. It looked like some sort of maybe ankle sprain. Don't know the severity of it. Did not seem as bad as what happened to Jamal Adams. But certainly keeping an eye on DJ Moore and what's going on in Buffalo. Of course, that's a team that the Bears will play this year in Buffalo. Arguably the hardest game on the schedule. This season, at least one, they're right up there with Seattle, and I mean it's a hard schedule.
It's a hard schedule.
But going to Buffalo for a night game is going to be a toughie. DJ Moore, though, I actually read a story in the paper this morning about DJ Moore, and I read it actually twice because I'm going to be careful of this. Sometimes it's no different than like spring training. It's the season of everybody being optimistic, right? And so they're talking about how DJ is going to be a featured player, and of course he looks good. But then there were some nuggets in there that I didn't realize. Like I guess their chemistry wasn't great in OTAs, and Josh Allen actually took ownership of it and was like, I was putting too much pressure on him because I'm not used to having like a go-to guy like that, because he really hasn't. I mean, that's been their story in Buffalo, not having like really good wide receivers. And then the story also, so the chemistry. I'm reading the story, and the gist of it was like, oh, DJ's going to be great for the Bills. But I'm also reading, and I'm like, well, okay, chemistry's not quite there. Then it mentioned how he has been declining the last couple seasons, which is true. And so I don't know. I came away reading it like I'm not sure everything's hitting as much as it's maybe kind of been talked about as like a hopeful thing to happen for Josh Allen and DJ Moore up there.
Well, and that's where, as an organization, you start to scramble, right? And they've been chasing that wide receiver dream for so many years.
And I personally thought they overpaid for DJ.
Right, and then you spend high on Keon Coleman, right, the wide receiver. They're trying to find these solutions. You get a little desperate. You start reaching the draft, or you reach a little further on giving up a second-round pick for DJ Moore because you know how important Josh Allen is, and you want to make sure you do right by him. But then what compounds the problem is, hey, that's a lot of pressure to put on a guy who has zero chemistry, has never played with this guy, and it's this win now for them. And that kind of chemistry takes years to cultivate. So, of course, they don't have chemistry. Yeah. They have chemistry issues in OTAs. It's their first year playing it. Now, they're talented, and as long as they're both healthy, they're going to make plays this season. But that true chemistry, that eyes in the back of your head kind of chemistry.
He had it with Justin right away.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. But even then, there's a difference between early, hey, we work together, and hey, we've been doing this for 5 years and we can do it blindfolded. And so, it's just never going to, as long as DJ keeps kind of chasing quarterbacks and the Bills keep chasing wide receivers, that takes time, and so, but the injury now derails that chemistry, right? So, that's unfortunate.
We're deep into the notes now, but how about the virtual measurement not working in the game? What the hell was that?
Let's go.
Why are you clapping that? You're just are you part of the chain gang union?
Yeah. Bring back the chain gang.
No.
It was so dramatic.
It took
they
so
would
much
bring
time.
it out, and then they stretch it out, and the drama of, will there be chain links between the ball and the stick? That, I missed that. So thank you.
Okay.
The computer couldn't figure it out. And today the chain gang won, and that's why they're still there. That's why they got to be there, because we can't trust the computers. Because look, in that moment, the computer didn't know what to do. Not so funny anymore.
I hated it.
The rant,
just all of it. Just get it out in the next play. Is it a first down or not? I loved that last year when it was all right, we just know if it's a first down or not. We're on to the next play.
I will say I do like the ABS in baseball.
Yes. It's great, except if you're a White Sox fan and they don't know how to challenge anything ever.
But the chain link did add drama to the
I mean,
game.
it was nice to see the guy in orange get out there on the field. He probably missed being out there on the field. It's been a while since he got to walk out there on the field.
Did we talk about Torrey Taylor yet?
No, when we were talking
were
about
trying
the
to
special
advance him.
teams. And I thought we should have definitely touched. I mean, you're the Tory guy. I'm not allowed to talk about.
Well, what did
special
you guys think?
I thought he had a good day.
Okay.
You keep saying he's booming the ball. That's what I saw.
He
Now
did. I want to see a little. That's not the thing I want to see though. I want to see him take the next level by consistently pinning these guys inside. I'm not just talking about the 10, the 5-yard line. We see these punts always in training camp where it literally looks like Scotty Scheffler with the backspin landing within 3 feet of the hole over and over again, very consistently. And then we get to the games, and he looks like Victor Hovland, which is still pretty good. Victor Hovland's good, but he's not Scotty Scheffler, and I'm just waiting for him to turn into Scotty Scheffler.
Okay.
Does that make sense for you, golf guy?
Yeah, that was great. If we could start doing shows like that, you'd have me locked in. Did you hear me? Yes, I heard everything you just said.
So
absolutely.
I gave that analogy to Herb Howard during practice the other day, and in the middle of the game today, he texted me, Victor Hovland.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had a good day. I mean, there was one point where he kicked it so well that the old saying, he outkicked his
Right.
coverage, and now all of a sudden there was lanes open, and it created a bigger return. But, like, it was a huge punt. It got incredible distance, and some would say too much. Okay, fine. You guys are the punting experts. I sleep during special teams. But then he did have the other punt where it was fumbled, and we always talk about how the ball kind of comes off weird. It's a tough ball to catch with Tory Taylor. Well, that was on display on one where a punt returner fumbled it. He had the dirty kick. So, I just like chemistry takes time with a quarterback and wide receiver, I think chemistry of kicking in the Midwest, and obviously specifically at Soldier Field, takes a long time. And that's why for a few years, Cairo Santos was somebody I was like looking to replace. And now I would trust him with my family because he's just so dependable. And Tory Taylor, I think, has to work up with that. Would I trust Tory Taylor with my family at this point? Not yet. He's got.
What do you mean by that? What, like with your family, like to take
once
care
you
of
become so yeah, exactly. Once you become so dependable, like Cairo is, I know now your attention to detail is at a level that you can be trusted to, lead my family.
Like while you're still there, or are you just planning for,
I
like,
need
the future?
guidance. Yes, I can always use a little guidance, but Tory still has to work to that point.
Look,
if that makes sense.
And I don't want that to be misconstrued. Like I was like the guy who was celebrating Tory Taylor's draft pick. I still feel like he's a good punter. I feel like, though, that the results I know from last season that the Bears feel like they wanted to see some significant improvement this offseason. So I don't think he's a liability by any means. I have high expectations for him. I think he has high expectations for himself. And, like, that one that they almost downed at, like, the half-yard line, I just need – if that lands at the 3 instead of the 1, they probably do down it. And I know it's kind of being picky, but this is the NFL, and that's what you want to see from the best punters.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's one thing I love about Tory, and we have this in common, is we both hate Carm. And that's, for me, I just will always defend him because he's a good judge of character.
That's fantastic.
Carm's going to be calling in the next 38 seconds after hearing that.
Well, he needs to.
Shot across the bow.
Since Tyson's still not here, Carm should have to host this show from Camp to Bag About until Tyson gets here. I think it's only fair.
Yeah. I mean, this is where we're really grinding here, right? Where, most post-game shows at this point have rhapsodied, and we're going to wait patiently. We're going to have fun. It's our first preseason game, first post-game show of the year. We get 20 of these until we get to the playoffs. And so you got to really cherish these with every moment they are, because before you know it, we'll be back dreaming of these days in March in April and May, and here we are. So I'll sit here all day long here at the Chicago Yacht Club, hanging out, air and water show going on, got music in the background, living good in the Ben Johnson era.
Yeah, and the sun's poking out again. One guy in defense we haven't discussed, maybe just in passing, was Ruben Hippolyte, who apparently actually got hurt in this game and had a shoulder that Ben mentioned after the game. He technically led the team in tackles today with 7. He did get credit for 1 TFL and 1 pass defense. Mm-hmm. I thought he left some opportunities out there a couple times, though, where he shot some gaps, got through there, penetrated with his speed, and then didn't make the play. So I still saw, but then he also corrected it, because I think, like, the very next play he did get in there and he did clean it up. So
yeah, that was an interesting sequence, because you watched on one play and we watched the second, video screen we had, and Ruben Hippolyte flashed because he shot through the gap right through the knife of the interior of that defensive line and gets to the backfield, but he also shot past the guy he was supposed to be tackling as well. So it was like too much speed shown and instinct shown in that moment. And so, but then on the very next play, he comes almost from the backside on a handoff on a short yardage. I think it was a 3rd down play, and made the tackle to get the stop to force it to 4th down. So good response there from Ruben Hippolyte. I agree. And it was a good underlying by you while we were watching it.
Yeah, I just feel like he's maybe in similar territory as Roschon Johnson, where it feels like he's a little behind the 8 ball in terms of making this team.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't think he's off the team. I think I also don't know that anybody's going to pick him up if they do cut him. Like, you might be able to get him to the practice squad.
Yeah, I mean, could be. That could be, which, 1 year into it.
Or they might decide we're good and move on. But
the other thing Ruben had, too, was in the second half, really good. Did you mention this? The coverage on the was it tight end or wide receiver? But he did a really good job in coverage.
He ran with that player. It was actually, I thought, a pretty decent ball. I guess that would have been Shedeur in the game at that point.
And Skylar Thomas, I think, came over the top because they nearly got the interception on it.
Yeah, I don't know. It may have still been a catch against good coverage if Skylar hadn't gotten there, but Skylar did show that range I was looking for. Look, Skylar Thomas, I keep mentioning, he's a big dude. So to see him show that range to get to the sideline, because I imagine the question on him would be the speed. But that was a good play, and I thought that was a pretty good ball, too.
Yeah, agreed. So that was where Ruben was able to show his strengths, right? As we all know, he's known for his speed. There's more to the game than that, but certainly that shined through in that moment.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about the linebackers, I mean, was it interesting to you guys like it was to me that Devin Bush was starting and playing today? Because you look at the rest of the defense and you're not seeing starters. Devin Bush is obviously a starter on this team. They signed him to a big contract to be just that. And I was I kind of raised an eyebrow when I saw that because Devin Bush doesn't have anything to prove in my eyes.
A lot of veterans out there today.
Yeah, let's see. Who wasn't out there? Jalen wasn't out
Montez.
there. We knew he wouldn't play because he was hurt.
Sure.
Grady held out.
Jervon
did not play either. I didn't see Jervon out there.
Play.
I don't know. Devin Bush is new. He's looked pretty good. I thought he looked good when he was in the game too. But it felt like they kind of made the decision that like the guys that are new to this thing get out there, play. And I know it's a little thing, but I do think there is some stock in it, especially for the rookies and the new players. You're not going to play another game in Soldier Field for over a month. Like, this is your opportunity to get in there, get on the field, understand the sight lines, get a feel for the game. This is your home stadium. I think that does matter. It might not be the most important thing. Look, if you had sat those guys, I wouldn't be sitting here being like, how dare you not play them at their home field? But I think that there's some value to it, so I understand why they played.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they didn't get that opportunity with Family Fest, right? Ben Johnson talked about that and how they had to then simulate what they did last year at Family Fest at Hallis Hall. Then the rain comes and the logistics of all that just kind of falls apart. So today was their opportunity for some of those things. And so, yeah, maybe that was the reason Devin was out there. And, hey, while he was out there, even in the limited amount, he flashed his speed as he's been doing at training camp. And so that's what I mean. It was a cookie crumb, but it was enough where it was like, okay, this is what we've been seeing at camp, and that's the upgraded speed that they were identifying here this offseason. It showed in that moment. So the only two other players I have on my list of guys that I thought stock up kind of guys that had my attention, there was a couple plays in particular where Hayden Large, who I try to watch at camp, but once you start getting to the third team, you're trying to report. Things are going on with first and second team. An injury every 5 minutes occurs, and now that takes away from your attention with third team. There's a lot of things going on in camp, and you can only cover so many people with just your eyes. But Hayden Large, to me, a few times, I saw a guy like, okay, I see the pathway for him, and the physicality and how Ben Johnson can get creative trying to implement him into this offense. But he was one guy that had my attention. And then another one, too. Early in the game, I felt like they were trying to run to the left side and couldn't get things going. And we talk so much about how this offense is right-handed. And it felt like after that third series, and maybe this is something we can ask or talk to Tyson about, but then on that third series, it felt like we're going to run to the right side and get to some of our bread and butter. And the reason I bring that up is one of the players that stood out to me in some of those reps was Theo Benedict. Okay. He had a really nice block where they're running to the outside. And we saw this a few times last year with Darnell Wright, but I just love the technique and the ability for these players, these, just their big bodies and the agility they have to get out to the edge, get that first block with that shed hand, right? But so you're affecting two guys at once, but it's a little thing, just moving their momentum just a little bit to then get up to the next level for the block that you actually need. It creates this kind of gap that the running back can then use to get up and then follow your lead. But you got to get that first shed hand to move that initial guy off the edge. And I saw Theo Benedict do that earlier, and that's something Darnell Wright did over a span a couple times last year. And that is why we were talking earlier, why Theo Benedict feels like a lock to make the roster, even if he's not really in the left tackle competition. He's somebody that can be relied on either side of the football.
Yeah, I think Theo's in a good spot. I'm not really worried about him. And I wonder with what you're talking about is that if that's maybe why Ben said after the game he called the run game spotty. Because he was saying that sort of in the context of the left tackle competition. So maybe he just felt like what you're saying, that when they tried to run the ball that way and give those guys an opportunity to shine, that maybe it just didn't go the way that they were hoping.
Right. So they're like, let's go to the right side so we can get down the field and try to get in the end zone.
And let me see here. Overall, the Bears had 82 rushing yards on 21 attempts, although 2 of those were, looks like quarterback scrambles. So we'll call it really 19 attempts and only 69 yards actually when you do that. 69 yards on 19 attempts. It's not, you're well below 4 as a team average there with just the running backs at that point. So yeah, I imagine they're not completely happy with how the run game went today against the Browns.
No, I mean, we're talking about a team that held a pretty high standard of what they can do with the run game.
You know, I will say this though, I think Ben overall, and maybe at some point we're gonna have to re-rack this, but I think Ben seemed optimistic. Like he seemed okay. Certainly when he talks about where they're at in the grand scheme of things, he seems to be talking very positively. I still feel that way. I think. And I felt that way watching the game today. When the starters, which were never actually out there today, but so when the guys that actually started the game were out there, you pulled them out. It still felt like the Bears had way more depth than the Browns, which they do, but you want to see the execution on that. And let's not forget, the Bears scored 34 unanswered points in this game. They were down 10-0.
Yeah.
They scored 34. And I'm not going to put a ton of stock in that because it's a preseason game, but I still think
Ben would have. When they were down 10-0, I was like, Ben is going to rip them to shreds in the post-game presser. But they stabled. They righted the ship.
Yep.
No pun intended at the Chicago Yacht Club. While they're playing Yacht Rock, which has really been my go-to here lately.
I don't even know what Yacht Rock is, to be honest with you. What defines Yacht Rock?
Oh, man, somebody's going to have to help me in the chat maybe articulate this as best we can. But, Steven, how would you describe Yacht Rock? I mean, it's just smooth.
I don't know.
It's just smooth vibe music. It's not always like love music. It's vibe music. And, like, for me, it keeps me in the right frame of temperament. I'm a very emotional person, and that may be a shock to you. But, like, for me, Yacht Rock and the combination of golf. I know I've been talking a lot about it, but like those two things just...
You like golf? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it really just calms me down. So now I'm hearing the Yacht Rock in the background. It's a good vibe.
So Yacht Rock is a smooth, highly polished, soft rock style from the mid-1970s to mid-1980s.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Rooted in Southern California. It blends jazz, R&B, and soul harmonies with elite studio production.
It's great. It's absolutely great. I see Robert McCullough.
So there's not like new music? This is their new
No,
this
is old school vibe. Love. It's good stuff, man. It's good soul music.
You're putting Doobie Brothers and Steely Dan in this?
Yeah, it's good soul music. Just put Yacht Rock on when you go on the boat next time. You won't regret it.
It sounds like it will.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
I gotta listen to my country music instead.
Country's good too, but you gotta switch the vibes sometimes.
Okay.
Switch the vibes.
Right here on Spotify, Yacht Rock.
It's great. It's great.
Okay.
Have fun. Look I just introduced you to something.
You know, Travis just came in here and blamed the traffic, and I'm with you. Like, why didn't he swim here?
Well, honestly, he should have known, like, swimming here, you get here faster with the Soldier Field traffic. I mean, we've been talking about this with the stadium. I know George did an interview today, and he had his thoughts on the stadium and their continued pursuit of Hammond, but maybe might not go to Hammond. And somebody said it perfectly, I think in the chat or on Twitter. They're like, I like how George said that they're still going to Hammond, and everyone just ignored it. Like, no, we heard it. Let us know.
He's like, no, really, we're doing it this time, guys. We're really going to do it. Yeah, no.
Let us. Case Keenum's going 9 for 10 here in the second half. Just excuse us while you guys figure that out.
Nobody wants to
respectfully.
Hear it. Yeah, nobody wants to hear it right now.
What are you laughing?
What are you
laughing about?
Oh yeah.
Look at Carm.
Well, I'm about to yell at
You didn't fix the hair or anything.
He doesn't need to. He's on vacation.
He's coming back.
He's here.
He's here.
Listen, I'm watching the show. You guys are at. I said he would be here at 4:00. It's 5:30. I'm feeling responsible.
We've
But
done post-game shows at this point.
Yeah. I figured that I would throw out the 5 thoughts that I didn't have, and you guys can just respond.
There we go.
So number one,
can you isolate it so I can take a nap? I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to talk. I wasn't supposed to talk. I'm sorry.
Well, actually, I thought this was your perfect post-game show, Braggs, because you could just literally talk and go through every thought that you possibly had on the game, and maybe then we'd be out of here at like 8:00, and it'd be perfect. Tyson will be here by then.
If I'm here at 8:00, you're fine.
But Tyson, 8:30.
Yeah. Does anybody think that Roschon Johnson is a viable NFL football player at this point, or I know he had one good run today, but I think it's time. I think we've gone down, and I told you Hoge recently to up your Roschon, and now I'd like to tell you to bury your Roschon, because I just like I'm like, can you put Salvon Ahmed in there? The guys look good all training camp, and then he got out there and now there's somebody running away from tacklers and looking more like a sort of an interesting third down back. Did you guys have that thought as well?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, but yes, I think we moved him to our we've seen enough list. That's the bad list, not the free pass to week 1 list. That's a different list. That's a good list. However, Ben did say it seemed like Ben wasn't happy with the run blocking early on in the game. So, but I had the exact same thought as you, Carm, right? Like when he got his 7th or 8th carry or whatever it was, number 23, I'm like, can we see Salvon Ahmed already? A little bit more juice here.
I mean, hand off, there's a tackler, and now you're on the ground. He had one run today where he eluded at least one tackler and picked up a good chunk. So, good dude, but a power back without the power, and there is not a whole lot of speed there. So I'm not exactly sure what you're getting outside of special teams, which that seems like a luxury here because they got a lot of guys that can play special teams. The Devin Bush play in the backfield and just his whole attitude in a preseason game, and then going back to training camp where he's knocking Colston Loveland around on a ball across the middle, or maybe I'm thinking maybe I have the wrong hit, but he's been physical out there too. I'm like, this guy. I'm getting excited about him being someone that we're going to see some impactful hits this season. So I was impressed with 12 today.
Yeah, I definitely fair.
I like that he played, and I like how he played when he got out there. And I don't necessarily need to see him in the preseason anymore. He's not on the list, although he's still got to practice. Though he's still got to practice.
Do you want to see more Ray McLeod? Because he certainly looked good with catching the ball from Case.
Yeah. I think he's there just to sort of take reps until.
Okay.
I'd call him a long shot to make the team.
Okay. He had. It was a good Ray. I liked his Ray. What was your thoughts? He rayed. He was a ray of sunshine today, and I did not realize when I was out earlier that and what a segment it was that Ruben Hippolyte led the team in tackles today.
7.
I know it's not. I know he's not going to the Hall of Fame.
I think,
and I know that
as well.
Yeah, but it's when Ruben's head hits the pill tonight, I think he can feel a little bit better about his lot in life. What was the thought on Malik Muhammad?
Good.
I mean, he got challenged a lot today, and I think he showed the framework of a guy that has like the frame to be physical and nickel slot kind of situation where you're going to be asked to have to get in there and get your elbows dirty a little bit. So I think he has the potential for sure.
Look, he had the penalty on Casey Concepcion. That's a high draft pick. You're going to have rookie moments. You're not going to win every battle. Obviously, you don't like to see that. But other than that, I didn't really see anything glaring in terms of bad. I thought I saw mostly good. The TFL in the backfield. I think he's taken to the slot pretty well. I still feel like he's probably better on the outside. But right now, this team needs him to play inside. And I keep saying this. Like, these injuries suck. But the best remedy for the Kobe Bryant injury and the Kyler Gordon injury is if these two rookies and Dillon Thieneman and Malik Muhammad turn into players, like legit players that you can count on, and they continue to get better as the season goes along. Let's not forget that too. Where you are in week 1 against the Panthers is not necessarily where you're going to be in December. Like, you're allowed to get better. And we saw this last year with this team and this coaching staff. They will get guys to improve as the season goes along.
Yeah, and along the improvement lines, one guy that seems to be improving on the daily is 27, Dante Manning. He's been around the football a ton. He was around the football again a ton today. So, just looking for training camp darling, special teams, practice squad guys that did well for themselves today. I would put him on the list as well. So,
I'd say a guy right now that I would say if they cut him, and the Bears lost him after getting cut, that I would be upset about would be Caden Davis. I think that's the one guy who's sort of on the bubble right now that I think most of these other guys, it's like, all right, first of all, most likely they'll get through the practice squad. But if they didn't and they ended up somewhere else, they'd be like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But Caden Davis seems like a legit piece right now.
Hey, Carm, I was a little surprised, Carm, that you didn't bring up Beanie Bishop. I just felt like he was right in your wheelhouse. Beanie Bishop. I was waiting for the Karmapedia on this guy. I had to kind of be the reliever called into duty for a little Karmapedia on Beanie Bishop.
That's a bad job by me because I was definitely intrigued, and I am intrigued by B Squared. And Braggs, do you know the movie that the character's name is Bishop? It's a Robert Redford film, kind of off the beaten path, but yet somebody I'm sure of the 1,400 plus who are still watching this 6-hour post-game show, waiting for Tyson to show up, might know this one.
Yeah, you always have early 80s reference movies, and you don't realize that I wasn't alive for those.
But this was, hold on. This one I think is more in the 90s, Braggs. But the movie that I'm sure that at least somebody knows out there is Sneakers, which was 1992. 1992. You were.
Yeah, the Dream Team. The Dream Team was ruling the world. I was running to every McDonald's in the country. They call him Beanie Bishop, Carm, if you should know, because growing up, they got Beanie Babies. Grandma was getting Beanie Babies there, and so then they named him Beanie. To me, that's where right here, what was I just saying here right before that? My brain just melted.
I have no idea.
No, what were you just saying?
What did you say about Beanie Babies?
Yeah,
Sneakers,
we were
92.
talking about collectibles here a second ago, right before.
But you just made that up, right?
No, it was in his Karmapedia. I told you. I did the Karmapedia earlier.
I wasn't listening.
Yeah, I know you weren't listening because you couldn't help me out there with the Beanie Baby.
Well, I was texting Steven during that, I believe.
Yes, Beanie Bishop. They call him that because of Beanie Babies here.
Yeah,
my mom was big into those. I don't know.
Well, so was mine. Yeah, my mom had a million of them.
Million.
Well, Braggs is on. His godmother refers to him as my Beanie Baby. Right. And so the nickname Beanie stuck, which that's the credit to Bishop. Yes.
But the reason I was bringing that up was because I didn't collect Beanie Babies, but in 1992 I was going to every McDonald's in the country to get the Dream Team Cups because you got all the different Dream Team Cups, and it was like my destiny in life to get all 12.
Did you get them?
Yeah, and it's really frustrating because I think I only have one cup of all of them left.
So that was your destiny?
Yeah, at the time.
I mean, Beanie Bishop, he's a West Virginia guy, by the way. So, if for some odd reason Tyson shows up right now, that'd be a great lead-in for you if he does come calling.
Well, is he from there or he just played there?
Hold on, gotta dive deeper into my Karmapedia here. But I believe just played there.
He's from Louisville.
Yeah,
Louisville. He also played at Western Kentucky for 18 years, then Minnesota, then West Virginia. So he had a cup of coffee at West Virginia. But he probably knows Shepard.
I mean, who doesn't at this point?
Right.
So
maybe this is, for a show later in the week or a couple weeks from now. We're 2.5 hours into this show, and maybe having big takeaways this late in the show is a dangerous game to play. But I have been saying it when people ask like what I think how this team will do, and we are trying to project best case scenarios in certain ways on the defense and trying to be optimistic of like, hey, look at these different options and how they work out. But as much as I am insanely excited for the offense this season, I am extremely nervous for this defense. We are talking about so many different names. We're trying to mix and match on which ones are going to work out, whether it's in the secondary, linebacker, defensive line. There's times where it just still looks like they're not going to be able to get to the quarterback. You got all these injuries in the secondary. Who's going to be it just feels like it's just such a mess. I can see the speed, the cookie crumbs of speed, but it's just I'm nervous when we're talking about a lot of depth pieces and who's going to be the ones to step up. There ain't many of those spots on the offense because those are taken up by talented players, and it feels like on the defensive side of the ball, it's like may the best man win, but are they best for beating the team that in the regular season?
Well, and it's interesting to bring this up. I've been thinking a lot about this the last couple of days because when you have a coach who's doing a story with Dan Pompei where he's talking about scoring, setting the record for points and breaking the Patriots' win streak, record win streak, you need a defense. You can't just score 40 points a game and do that. You still need to play defense. I'm not as panicked as you are. I am worried, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if Ben truly feels the way he keeps saying he does, and I believe he does, that the things are feels good about the offense right now, it seems like. How tempted do you get here before September 13th to make some type of big swing if there's one to be taken? We heard yesterday the Vita Vea, they at least called on that. Now the Buccaneers are saying we're not trading him. Max Crosby, there's 8 million different thoughts about that. And if they're going to hold on to him, he's saying he wants to be a Raider for life. I still feel like he probably won't be a Raider for life. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you really feel like you're that close, Carm, like at some point, do you make some type of big swing like that? Is that time now? It's really up to Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles on how they feel to make that call.
Yeah, and right. How close do you think you are to winning the Super Bowl? No, can you hear me? My reaction to that is, how close do you think you are to winning the Super Bowl? And it's very early, and you've had a lot of things not necessarily go your way so far. Kobe Bryant at the top of that list, and you're still trying to figure out who's going to get to the quarterback and who's going to protect the quarterback on the left side. But no one's taking any chips off the table for what the Bears can do this year.
No,
this is an all-in.
We're not taking off the table that they can win the Super Bowl, but I'm not afraid to say that. Do I think this defense is Super Bowl caliber? No, not even close. So how would they have to win the Super Bowl with that being their reality? Well, you'd need this offense to play out of their mind. And so what are you talking about? Ben talking about setting the points record. Well, when you're a team that doesn't need to score 40, you play a different type of way to win games. You slow it down. You start playing ball control. You run the ball. Like that's what a stable team does. When you got to score 40 plus, it's because you're giving up 33 plus. So yeah, a lot of points are going to be scored, and can they win a Super Bowl? Sure. What will it require? You're talking about the word that used to just piss Bears fans off, and now I think we're ready to step back into the generational conversation. But if you want to win a Super Bowl this year with the way this roster is currently constructed, you need a generational year 2 out of Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. Is that possible? Absolutely. But it's a lot to ask of a second-year offense, but it could happen.
Well, and it also makes you nervous, though, because on any given playoff week, you could do that. You could set the scoring records. You could do all these things. But if you get the wrong matchup at the wrong time against the right coordinator that, Bill Belichick famously using Vic Fangio's scheme to beat the Rams, something like that, you don't have a defense. All of a sudden, just 1 week goes by and your season's over. That's what makes you nervous when you don't have the defense. I think right now, best case scenario is can you get a defense that's middle of the road? At least with what they got right now.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the part of it though too. I'm not willing to say right now that Dennis Allen and company can't find some level of formula with the amount of guys they have up front that the defense can be a surprise, at least to some degree, to what you're talking about, get to the middle of the pack. That this is optimistic me talking. That Jordan Vandenberg can have a very surprising rookie season. That Neville Gallimore can continue his upward trend in the NFL. That even whoever you want to name. That Austin Booker, Montez has a big year. James Lynch. There's a lot of pieces that they can play around with here. The back end does make you nervous, but at least we saw Kyler Gordon standing around on the sidelines today. He was there. He was present. So there, that's not what we're looking for. But I'm not completely writing off the defense yet. Although obviously you have to be concerned about what could potentially be as far as them going in the wrong direction, is not getting to the quarterback and people being able to throw all over the secondary.
Ty Cat, who sent a nice message right before our post-game show started, just hit the nail on the head. He said, this level of stalling is Hoge's hell and Bragg's is heaven.
Yeah. You want to keep stalling? I'll go to the bar.
Bartender.
I'm here in any minute. I'm here in any minute now, Hoge.
Yeah.
And I expect you to do a 30-minute in-depth interview here with
You said 30 seconds. Did he say 30 seconds?
He did.
Just break down every play in its entirety, what the options were, what he saw, what went on in the headset. Let's not leave any stone unturned when you go 2 hours and 46 minutes on August the 15th in the middle of family camp at the yacht club with a wheel behind you and Travis Bagent walking around in a Balani suit. And Bragg's probably going to do another 2-hour post-game show on Spaces. Or do you do those still, Gregory, or no?
Not as much. The boys are mad at me, but I've just been really focusing on self-health.
Are those still a thing?
Golf. Yeah,
Spaces
are still
I don't think I've seen one in forever.
No, they're still a thing. It's just I'm not in there,
Yeah.
so that's why you don't notice them. You haven't been making fun of me about it as much because I'm not in there.
Well, I just love the names. Carm, do you remember the names
Oh,
of
yeah.
the names of the spaces? I would screenshot them and put them in Slack.
It's a great place to put them.
Yeah.
All I know is they would pop up on my phone, and 1 out of every 10 times I'd pop in there, and it was a very interesting collection of individuals who were speaking in ways that I had never heard people speak before. What was that one guy's name who doesn't like me but kind of likes me, Greg?
Everyone in our chat.
Junior, Jay Targaryen.
Junior. Yeah. Well,
Junior?
Yeah, my guy Junior. He's a good dude.
There's a million people named Junior.
Well, that's his name.
Okay.
There's a million people named Adam.
I know, but I wasn't saying
Do a
Adam.
podcast with another Adam.
Right, but I wouldn't have been like that guy Adam. It's a very normal name. I would have been like Adam
Well, yeah, but
Johns.
I see.
Where is Adam Johns, by the way? What's his excuse that's not Nabagamon?
I believe it's funeral.
Oh, well, that's a real excuse. Sorry. My bad. I didn't know that. Maybe I did.
All of us missed the funeral today, but we can't all be. So you had to be here.
I lost my wedding ring today, Carm.
That is true. Carm,
Where?
I didn't know if you were going to bring this up on the air. I was not going to bring it up
I've
myself.
been demoralized all day, just taking a butt whooping, Carm. You know it over the last few weeks. Lost my wedding ring, and Jenny's been looking for it all day. We think it's gone.
Do you know where you lost it? Have a remote idea?
The reasoning is a nice one because I've lost so much weight. It's been loose on my finger, and I noticed that it was kind of sliding, and then I was earlier I couldn't find it, and I think it flew off. I genuinely just think it flew off my hand. Lost my wedding ring today.
Sounds to me like it's on a golf course somewhere.
That was the first place he looked.
It was the first place. I mean, I played in the morning and it was wet, and then I took the glove off, and the glove was wet, and my ring was on. So it could have flung off where I took it off, but I looked.
It's not in the glove. He already checked.
It's not in the glove, not in the golf cart, not in the parking lot. Went back to the house. It's just been our power's out. The kid can't get to school. I'm done belly aching. The Bears brought me back to life here today. Tyson Bagent's going to keep things going here in a little bit. But, yeah, it's been a rough one here today, Carm.
Did you play this morning? I'm sorry, you probably already talked about it.
Every morning, yes. Every morning.
Oh,
we should.
Yeah, go
how easy did you check the golf bag?
As best I could.
Are you going to?
Ben Johnson is Dan Pompey. You guys had him on Hoge Johns. Illustrated. Ben Johnson wakes up every day, gets to work at 5 a.m., and so do I. That's what I do.
Yeah. For the last month.
And now I lost a wedding ring out of it.
But you're
because I'm married to the game, Jenny.
Gregory, you've compared yourself to Jordan, and we know that your competitiveness is right there with the greatest player to ever play anything. By the way, did he win that GOAT thing? Are the votes in yet on that?
No, I think that was just us, our voting period. Now doesn't it go to the public?
Well, regardless, Gregory, you've compared yourself to Michael, and now you're comparing yourself to Ben. I don't think anybody's ever compared themselves to both. So really, you're on a whole nother level.
Oh,
there is. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm being honest, and I'm happy to do that here at the 3-hour mark of this show.
Please do.
I honestly don't really think anyone matches my level of intensity, and that includes Ben Johnson and Michael Jordan.
I'm just going to ignore that.
That's how I feel.
I don't. What about Ben Devine? Does he?
Yes, he's intense too.
I got a text last night from somebody commending us that we did not bring up Ben's name on our show a single time.
We didn't do it.
And now Carm just did it.
Well, I couldn't help it at the 3-hour, 59-minute mark. That was the only guy I could think of.
That's fair. Sorry. We did our best, but when we're at the 3-hour, 59-minute mark, then you just got to drop a Ben Devine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to – no, that was the only person on the tip of my tongue that – who Braggs could be remotely compared to. By the way, no harm, no foul on that whole situation, in my opinion.
What are you talking about? Of course, there was harm and foul.
What was the harm? What was the foul?
To be asked at the press conference, and then I get home and it's on the ticker of the NFL Network that the Bears aren't going to change their name. No crap, they aren't changing their name. It's already been asked and answered 9,000 times.
Well, that's just funny. Like, why would you
waste the time?
Why would you even acknowledge that? What a ridiculous thing to acknowledge.
Oh, no. They just announced that Tyson Bagent is in the building.
Okay.
So that's important.
I can't see him, so I don't believe it.
All due respect, they announced him in here, so he should be coming on the podcast any second. So for the 1,250 of you that have waited 2 hours and 47 minutes, the time is coming now. Go ahead, Carm.
No, thank you for that. And I'm going to step out so you guys can do an outstanding interview. But Steven, if I were you, I would walk down, find him, and tell him that the only person that he really wants to talk to right now clearly is Adam Hoge and Greg Braggs, because those are the people.
Oh man, and he looked way better than we do too.
Oh boy!
See, because Carm didn't tell us this was a dress-up event. Carm, yeah.
What's up? Good, man. How are
Yes.
you? Good seeing you. Good seeing you. We're getting things set up
Hoge, you're
here.
leaving him
You
hanging.
got to slide down, Greg.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are here at the
Carm,
Chicago.
we're going to let you go. Thanks for stalling with
Well,
us, man.
you wanted him to say hi. Let him say hi real quick.
Here.
Yeah.
So hold on. I got you here down here. So here you go. I apologize. I forgot to have that set up for you.
Yep.
As we get organized here on the CHGO Bears podcast at the Chicago Yacht Club. Let's go. Excited to get into this here. Appreciate the Chicago Yacht Club having us out for the 4th annual Bagent Group preseason kickoff. Yep. It's a great group, a fun group. The air and water show going on. The jets spinning out in the air. It's crazy.
That thing has a real effect on the city. I'll tell you that.
It's
The trip here is way harder.
We were saying that you should have swam. Just swam from Soldier Field. You would have gotten here faster.
Or a plane. One of the fighter jets could have brought you over.
It was unbelievable. We had, well, first off, it took 2 hours for the first time ever. That's a new record from the North Shore of Lake Forest. But there was an hour and a half left, and it was just said, you'll be in traffic for an hour and a half. I was like, wow. There we go.
By the way, you can't see him, but Carm is on the line right now. You should be able to hear him through your headset. Carm, you want to say hello?
Tice, good work. I just was stalling all the time for these guys waiting on you. Which thank you for doing that for me because I missed them and I wanted to talk to them. I'll ask one question and get out of the way. Like, how did you just the amount that you've been working to get back on the field and have this moment today, right? Do you think you put a lot of extra on your shoulders going into it just because it had been so long? And how did it feel to be out there?
First and foremost, it felt great to be back out there. You know how I am, Carm. You know how much I love this stuff that we got going on. But since the game has ended, anybody that tells me I had a good game, I kind of want to punch them in the face because, there was about 4 or 5 plays that, I think if I could have back, it would have really been a better feeling for me individually. As a team, I thought collectively I saw a lot of good things go on and a lot of good things that we can work off of into next week.
That's exactly what I thought you would say. All right. Hey, just know that these 2 guys to your left, I would make sure that, they don't stay all night, especially the one right next to you, because he's liable to cause a little bit of an issue here at the Yacht Club. I'm just telling you before I get out of here, that dude is going to become very friendly with whoever he can become friendly with to advance himself tonight. So just know that.
Wow. Nah, love you, Carm. Nah, we're good. We're going to have a good time.
Okay. All right, y'all. I'll be listening. Have a good show. Thanks, guys.
He already was causing trouble during the game with some of the stuff he was yelling in the bar area.
Yeah, anytime a ball goes on the ground and defenders don't immediately pick it up, or a ball carrier goes on the ground, it doesn't look like a guy's been touched, or maybe it's like in the tweener spot, I always yell, like, get on the ball. Like, it's just a Lovie Smith thing ingrained in me as a Chicago Bears.
That's how Dennis Allen treats practice. Any ball, whether it's just a batted ball that's now dead, just on the ground, defense is still coached to pick it up and go because, you never know. You had that 2-point conversion, Seattle and LA last year.
Yeah.
Where ball's just chilling on the ground and team picks it up. So that was kind of our teach tape when kind of discussing the ball being on the ground at all.
Yeah,
so
I have involuntary spasms in the Yacht Club over there in the bar. They're like, everybody's dressed nice, and I'm over here screaming ball, and they're like, but it's Bears season. They get it. This is what Chicago's all about.
So I had a feeling you'd have a similar answer to how you felt like you played today. But let's go through some of the good and the bad and what you felt like. Let's start with the good. I mean, the 41-yarder to Caden Davis. I joked with you in the press conference the other day. It seems like every practice ends with you hitting him with some type of bomb. That's been fun to watch. And you guys connect. I was telling people earlier in the show because they don't get to see practice every day. When you hear us, what we've been talking about in practice, that is what we saw today, that type of play. That's what we've seen. Take us through that play, and obviously you guys have developed some chemistry there.
Yeah, I thought Caden, per usual, has done a great job knowing what he's supposed to do, being where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there. So I think for what I saw personally was not a whole lot.
You got hit.
Guy in my grill, but knew that it was going to be tough to see man this week just because it's with a team that we haven't necessarily game plan for, that we don't know, necessarily schematically like we would during the season. So immediately got off my man alert and he was number one in the progression, seeing the pocket, and he did a good job running through it. I thought he was going to score there for a second.
How much harder does that make it for you? I mean, We talked about how important these reps are for you, these opportunities to play in the preseason, yet you're not really getting like a full game week to really prep for who you're playing. How tough is that?
Yeah, I mean, there's some tough parts, kind of like what I just said. Like, it'd be nice if we knew exactly when they were in man or zone. But in another aspect, it kind of makes it easier because now you're just working the play just exactly how it was coached to be run. You're not really straying away from that too. So, yeah, I didn't have my man alert, but still, coach says, 1 to 2 to 3, and 1 is there, so I take 1. 1 is there, so I take 1. And then if 1's not there, then you go to 2. So it simplifies it in that aspect. Although it would be nice to know exactly what they're about to do.
So with that being said, like if we go to the interception, which I'm, obviously not the best place to go, but at the same time, when you talk about your progressions, from me as the fan in the stands watching on TV, and I see that running back leak left, and you're looking right. Well, I'm going, well, you should have went left, Tyson.
No,
but you're saying like this is where my progression. Maybe walk me through that so I can try to understand.
Yeah, 100%. So we had a dagger concept called, and so the dagger hits 20 yards down the field. We were spraying it, so it'll hit 18 yards down the field. You want to hit it about 2 to 4 yards inside the numbers. So I'm looking at the field hook player because that's who we're high-lowing with him and who I threw the ball to, which was the 8-yard deep pivot in front of him. So they go to Tampa 2, gun 5 footwork, get to my first hitch, and I see that the Tampa Mike backer sloughed off. Even though, so in my mind, if I could go back and look at this, I would say, Tyson, complete the dagger 2 to 4 yards inside the numbers. Or you see 1, you don't feel good about it, 2's already kind of covered up. Now I'd either take off or move on to 3. So that's the 2 things I could say. Got to move on from that second read in my progression, or I need to have way better anticipation and put it on 1 so that even if the Tampa dropper does slough off, it's still complete 2 to 4 yards. It's a bang bang play.
So when you said in the presser you were late, you're talking about the dagger, and so you passed on it, and then you went to
I threw it to the number 2 in the progression. When really I should have put it on 1 a lot sooner, or 1 and 2's not there. Now I'll move over to 3, or if the clock's running out in the pocket, then obviously got to use your legs.
Instinctually, do you? Like when you're trying to determine when you're reading high to low or low to high, I don't know what your rules are in that quarterback room, but like how hard is that to try to like premeditate that in a sense? I don't know if that's something you do or if it's read after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously have to do a good job of recognizing coverage. I think you can go into we went into this game at least understanding what the defensive coordinator did in the first 2 preseason games last year. So we know kind of what his style of defense is. So we're not completely blind to that.
Okay.
And then again, it just comes down to, how fast can you recognize the coverage? And then with that, obviously there's players that, are able to do better things within that coverage, like that Mike backer sloughing off. He could have easily just continued to do his job and run down the pipe with the through route, who's really just a clear guy. Okay. He recognizes that, so it's, little things like that. That's why timing is so important. And that's why you have to do a good job of, being able to see through kind of the train wreck that's happening in front of you.
So we were all sitting here watching the game going, let's see if the defense can get the ball back, because you don't want to end the day on the interception. And they did. And you had an opportunity to run the 2-minute, which I know has been a huge emphasis for you guys in camp this year, especially the second quarter, finishing the second quarter, going into halftime better than you guys did last season. I know you didn't want to take the sack at the end. You're still able to get a field goal, tie the game up going into half. Just what was your assessment of that whole series, because you did move the ball down there and got some things going before the sack?
Yeah, so I think that, it definitely was amazing to be able to get the ball back so quickly, too. I mean, I think it was, everything, it was a lot. The last 2, at least, clock stopped, too. So that was huge for us. And then even though we only had 1:20 left, we had all 3 timeouts. So certainly felt good about that. It got off to a shaky start, 3rd down. We were ready to let the clock run because you don't want to give them a rebuttal drive with a lot of time. But they burnt the timeout. So then we were able to have the good conversion on 3rd down, the hard time across the middle. And then we were in 2-minute mode after that. I thought we moved the ball down the field effectively. Caden Davis came up big on the sideline again. Mm-hmm. And then as far as the rest of the drive, obviously, horrible place to take a sack. And then really after that, you're just hoping that Cairo makes the field goal.
You talk about that drive, and I believe on that 2-minute, You hit Caden Davis, you said on the sideline. That was a back shoulder type deal there. Those kind of plays require quite a bit of chemistry and timing, and sometimes for quarterback wide receiver, that takes years to find that connection. You know, maybe it wasn't perfect, but you guys got the job done. Caden Davis comes down with that football. Like, how, like the connection you guys are building, because that it's one thing to hit a guy in stride, but then the back shoulder requires a little different touch, timing, and understanding of each other.
Yeah, I mean, unless the drop off is significant, every time I'm throwing to somebody, if I'm deciding to, like I said, unless there's a huge drop off, I'm trusting you, and with however I'm going to put the ball. My job is to let you touch it. Other than that, now it's up to you. Now we're going to see, what you're good at, what you're not good at. So Caden Davis has just done a good job. I've never thrown him a back shoulder pass until that one. But, once again, make eye contact behind the defender on any go ball. That's usually the thought process, is to back shoulder. So he was able to make a good play. I could have easily put it a lot more on his back shoulder, made it an easier catch. But he, made a great play, which is something that, we keep answering questions about him. He's been consistent in that factor.
Well, and I want to ask you one more, because we don't get to see the practice film back like you guys do. The one in the indoor, not the other day, but maybe the practice before that, you guys ended it where you threw it to the back corner kind of, and he kind of just let it fall right. I think it was pretty good coverage, it seemed like, from my angle, and he just sort of fell right in his arms. When you guys went back and looked at that, what did you see? Because from my vantage point, it seemed like a good ball, good coverage, and late hands by him that just sort of allow it to fall right in there.
Yeah, I mean, close your eyes and put out your hands. I mean, my goodness, the ball landed right there. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so that is another thing. I mean, you're seeing what these guys can do. Nobody, especially if you're in a two role like me, I have a completely different wide receiver core every single year.
Right.
So the idea of having chemistry that takes years that just is impossible, because you can't. That literally doesn't happen. So once again, you just see what a guy can do, and now he's putting on tape just how important it is to be, how skilled he is. Having late hands like that is hard. I mean, I run routes for my brother all the time. I'm running with my arms in the air. So I understand that that's not easy to do, and, because of that, now we're able to score touchdowns.
How about the touchdown to Maurice Alexander today? What was going on that play?
Yeah, we had a crossing concept called. They went invert 2 on us. Safety, Hartime was able to still gain on the safety, even though he's just sitting there supposed to play the middle, because I think of the boot action. So great concept, and play that we're comfortable running and have ran plenty of times during camp, and just, hard time making plays just like he, you guys are at practice just like he normally does. So
that's what you call him, hard time?
Yeah. The hard time. It was funny for me when he first said it. Now it just rolls off the tongue.
The first time you said it, I'm like, wait, I don't know who that is.
Hard
You're
time.
Like, I'm not calling another man hard time.
Yeah, Maurice. Yeah, hard time. I got you. I mean, when you guys say Maurice Alexander, I'm like, I have to think for a second who that is. So yeah, that's hard time to us. But he did a great job. Ran through the pass, made somebody miss, took it to the house.
Okay. Yeah, I call him Mo.
Mo. Yeah. People say Mo.
Yeah,
I've heard Mo.
Okay.
I've heard Mo.
No, and so I guess, we talk so much about the execution from a passing standpoint, but obviously you guys have so much responsibility at the quarterback position for the run game and getting the ducks in a row. And we've heard from Ben Johnson this year of how he's trying to implement some new wrinkles to the run game that obviously was very successful last year. So without giving away too many trade secrets, but what's that been like here in implementing that today on a game day of trying to navigate this new, era of where Ben Johnson wants to take the run game?
Yeah, I mean, I would say we've maybe dabbled in a few things, but as far as that's concerned, we're not there yet. And as far as today was concerned, pretty vanilla. But I thought, because right now you're seeing technique, you're seeing how these guys react to different fronts and angles and such. So, but you want these guys to play fast. You want to play fast, so the call sheet wasn't egregious at all in the sense of like having to understand a lot. So I think for now it's just more about letting these guys play fast and easier play calls. But I am excited to delve into that as soon as the season rolls around.
Carm texted me a question for you too. He's wondering if Ben has gotten on you at all this camp in ways that he hasn't in the past, and then made me think of Stacy told a story on the broadcast today. Stacy Dales, that she referenced, that It sounded like Ben yelled at you the other day or something, and you called your dad about it, and then you guys were actually like kind of laughing about it.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
He ain't never talking again after this.
Oh man, I won't get into too much detail, but once every blue moon, I'll have a bad practice. And
did you have a bad practice?
Ben Johnson, it was a little bit more important than the practice. It was the scrimmage.
Oh, it was Tuesday. Okay.
So didn't play very well at all. And Ben is just he just doesn't. He holds us to a high standard in the quarterback room, which I do enjoy. And he let me hear it just like he lets everybody hear it. So he wasn't going to spare me.
Well, let me try to say this respectfully and delicately then. Has this been a different challenge this year? Maybe just on the small, and not the big picture and everything. You're obviously the success you've had, you should be really proud of, but like going through practice to practice, like I remember to end mini camp, I think it ended on an interception, right? And you've had a couple practices where it ended on an interception. Today, you had some that I know you wanted back, right? You're frustrated. I can tell that. So what's that been like to try to navigate through all the successes, and now there's things that haven't necessarily gone exactly the way you want when you know how important this time of year is for you?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of ways that you could look at that. I think for the most part, I am. I'm not upset about where I'm at all. I think I've been playing pretty well since we got here. But I will say every time I leave practice, I think in my head about what happened, and I go watch the tape, and I wonder how in the world I didn't go 100%, like completion percentage and everything. And then, it does suck to think like that because once again, unless you're Case Keenum today, nobody goes 100%. So it stings a little bit to have that thought process, but as long as I can be pissed off about not going 100%, I can still go 80% on a bad day, which is I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and that just sounds like the high standard you keep for yourself and the high standard that Ben keeps for you guys too. Because I've been at practice every day. I think you're having a great camp.
We have JT hands us the stat sheet every day, and it just compiles over time, so I can see what the completion percentage and everything is. That hasn't fallen at all. I just think that the same thing I had, just the standard that we hold ourselves to, and feel like the luckiest person in the whole world to play for the Chicago Bears. So I would never. It would just upset me so bad to not go 1,000,000%. Because I'm going to just exhaust every little thing because I already feel so lucky to be here. So that's just kind of how I think about it.
And don't get it twisted. We advocate. We see what you do at practice every day. And so where I'm going with this, I just know, I'm a world-class golfer. You may not know this, but now you're going to know this. And, I know when I'm at the course.
That's his 15th golf reference of this show.
16th, 17th, for sure. But if I have a bad drive on my last drive, I can't sleep that night because that was my last drive of the day. It drives me crazy. It eats me alive. That's where I was going with
I threw that. Yeah, I threw that pick at the last practice of OTAs, and that is the only thing that I thought about the whole time, the whole summer. So there is that, and then I roll into camp having thought myself into am I not good enough to play with these people? Is that really what's going on? And then that just causes me to just go balls to the walls, which usually I end up being like, man, I should have just had more confidence, blah blah blah. But just consistently trying to bring out that I'm the underdog, I have so much to prove because school I come from.
That's what you got you here.
You know what I mean. So I just gotta even if I gotta trick myself into just that dog mentality of somebody's gonna have to really come and take this from me. I'm not gonna, I can't just lay down.
This city respects that. From the top. You go down Madison Street and go look at the Michael Jordan statue. That guy was the greatest of all time, and he yet had that exact same mentality of just killer instinct. Nothing's ever good enough. Fight people that think they are doing good enough. That's 100%. Who he was, and that's who we embrace here in this city. So we love that mentality.
And I think having a family helps you out too. It's a lot easier to go home after throwing a pick, to kids and things like that than it is when I was going to an apartment by myself just really just sitting there thinking of like what a slappy I am for a mistake I made at practice. So
that's the second time I've heard you use the word slappy today. You said it in the press conference too.
Yeah.
You called it a complete.
We're in the middle of
slappy
camp.
move.
We're in the middle of camp. I'm picking up all kinds of phrases from hanging out with these guys all day.
Well, we're gonna let you get inside. I got one last thing for you. Though.
The jersey too.
Yeah. Well, the Brittain Doyle thing. Just the fact that there's two Shepherd athletes
That's
here
crazy.
in town right now. I got over it. I was a little mad at you for throwing out the first pitch at Wrigley because I mean, as a Sox fan here, I've taken a lot of pride that you jumped on the White Sox bandwagon.
I'm good with it.
But I understand the opportunity. You can't pass on that.
Oh man, that was unbelievable. They let me go down there. I watched PCA do BP. I'm watching that like they have like a big screen where it's the exact pitcher they're about to go against. He like digitally throws, but there's a hole right here that the ball fires out of.
Oh, yeah.
It's the guy's exact pitch.
I've seen those.
Unbelievable. So
That
I got to see
technology is
all that,
crazy.
and then obviously I think I threw a little bit of a better pitch this time around. That I was a little more proud of. So I was excited about that as well.
Well, it was cool seeing you rock the Brittain Doyle jersey today.
Oh yeah, no, unbelievable. He was a senior my freshman year, and he's pretty much the talk of the town.
Real quick, what about Beanie Bishop? He went to West Virginia. Did he got any background on Beanie Bishop,
Well,
Mr. West Virginia?
I don't have a lot of background, right? Because he just got here. And we've only been hanging out a couple of days. But then at post game, we get to talking because I'm like, man, I don't really know this dude. I'm like, this dude just had his first multiple interception game, like blah blah blah. And then he starts telling me he intercepted Aaron Rodgers twice.
Twice.
I said, "Oh, okay. I didn't know who I was talking to. I apologize.
Yeah. No,
you are already an absolute gangster." Like,
when I heard that,
good.
I was like, "You made the team. You don't have to do nothing here. He's good.
You pick off Rodgers twice. You're
Two
good.
on Rodgers. You're good.
I know, unbelievable.
All right, last thing. Randall calling plays in the second half. What a debut for that for him.
Man, has it? Yeah, seriously. I already said it a million times, but wow. What a crazy amount of success.
But you said he was relaying the plays to Ben, and Ben was still talking to the quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Did I hear that right?
Yes.
So is there any chance that Ben didn't like a play call and he changed it? I'm
From
kidding.
what
I'm kidding,
yeah,
of
from
course,
what-
but I wouldn't put it past him.
No, from what I examined, he seemed like he was, once you make that decision, let somebody call plays, you can't, you can't just be dipping halfway in. It's like, okay, I'm going to let you call a play. So I thought there was no facial reaction, obviously, also because of the success that we had.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Well, I know it was wet conditions at Soldier Field, but we really needed the rain here in this area, so you just had to bear through it for today.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Tyson, thanks so much for inviting us. You invited us here.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
this is
go.
your guys'
Appreciate having
event. This has been really cool. What's going on, and we're going to end the show and get out there with you.
Let's go.
We're happy to be here.
Let's go. Your family here? Just you?
Just me.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. My mom was like, can I come? I was like, I'll check.
Ran out of space, Mom. I'm sorry.
We love you,
Sorry,
Barb. We love you, Barb. Next time.
Those damn people.
All right, Tyson, we'll let you go get inside. We got a couple super chats here to end the show, and then we will say goodbye. But thanks, man.
Yeah,
see you at
appreciate
house
y'all.
tomorrow.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
See you guys.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Tyson Bagent joining us here after the game on what I think is a record-long post-game show now at this point.
This has been pretty cool,
Yeah,
though.
it's been
that
great.
was great. Appreciate your time, Tyson, as always. Man of the people, man. Salt of the earth, as I like to say. Good people, man. So that's what it's all about. I'd be happy to sit here for another 3 hours. Yes, sir.
Three supers to end the show here. Carm's yawn with $10, saying throwing in $10 for elite vamping by the team.
Okay. Well, I'll have to learn what vamping is.
Given the context, because I think it means like stalling or waiting. Yeah.
Okay. We always use that I don't. I'll take it. Brawl Sack, $50. Another $50 from Brawl Sack. Steven, go get the boys some bourbon while they wait. Let's get loose. They deserve it after 2 hours. I do have to say, somebody offered me an old fashioned earlier, and I turned it down, and I've regretted it for the last hour and a half.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kerry Huss, $20. Our guy Huss. I think that brings the total to 140.
Huss. It's 3.5 hours on the show. Huss.
Just booked my Miami trip. That's big news.
Let's
Huss
go.
is coming to Miami. Motor City Mike and I will be there. Motor City's coming too. This
go.
is good. Can't wait, boys. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right. I'm ending the show. This has been fun, though.
I have no more thoughts.
Yeah, we we can honestly say there's nothing left on the cutting room floor. I think we went through all 91 players on the roster.
Normally when we end an hour show, I get literally get really mad at things we didn't bring up. I will not have to worry about that today. We covered everything, even Yacht Rock, and I look forward to your introduction to a new world, my friend.
Jake sent us a list of the top 100. I refused to read it, but thank you.
That's why me and Jake are boys, because I knew he's right there. He's already in that lane.
All right, thank you for being here. Hit the like button if you haven't already on the way out, please.
If you're here this long, how many people are watching live right now?
That's crazy. We should have at least 1,000 likes on this show, but we'll take what we got. Thank you for being here. Hey, we're back at it tomorrow night. There's a practice at 3 o'clock. I think that means an 8 o'clock p.m. Sunday night show. I think is what it means.
I'm going to go look for my wedding ring.
Talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.